fucking shows and movies.
All of our takes that people will find either lukewarm or tepid. But yes, I am happy. I went to a con for the first time in 10 years. I met Bosco and Connor and got their autographs. And then I got a few small things for myself. That's the closest
Yeah.
thing
Oh,
I've
which
had.
con?
Anime STL.
Oh, okay. Do you have a good time?
Oh yeah, it was a really fun time. All the pictures are up on Twitter if people want to track them down. Though I can also post some
Do you
from.
cosplay?
Actually, yes. For the first time in like 15 years, I dressed up as the character from the wrestling community that
Yes.
Bosco would know me from, just to fuck with him.
Did he recognize you?
Yeah, he was immediately like, I should have seen this coming. Because he knows I'm from St. Louis, because honestly, we talk about stuff from being in the Midwest from when he grew up in Chicago. He was more affronted with the fact that I was buying prints for friends he didn't know about because of how close our social circles are. I'm like, I have other friends, and they are also people who want to support you. So let me buy these 2 prints for them. But yeah, aside from that, I had a very lovely time.
Heck yeah.
But I say,
I-
want to start going around the horn?
First of all, you need to turn off one of the layers on the overlay.
Oh, okay, give me a second here to find out which one it is.
Yeah. The one that's on top of the other one.
Oh.
How helpful.
I am being accurate.
Listen, I only glanced at them
There
when I
you
had
go.
to save them from the thing, and also you got to remember every time you like open in browser something from Discord, it opens at 75,000 times like the zoom, so I can't notice the smaller parts of it. But thank you for catching that, Citric.
Do we have a Twitter post?
Yes, I can see if
Okay,
I can grab a copy of
excellent.
it. And there's also one on the Blue Skies, which don't even get Zai started because friend of the channel Zai, they are so mad that no one has come up with a term for retweeting on Blue Sky that is not either vulgar or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Every time like we go in for a Wizard Sips plays, she's got some new one, and she's just like, "Why are people like this?" There's that. Let me get the post link. While I do this, Citric, do you want to start going around the horn?
Sure thing. Hi, I am Citric. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Citricking, and everywhere being Blue Sky, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and other places if you look hard enough. I doodle sometimes and post it in those places. I do my try to do a monthly commission thing, but all slots for this month are being taken. But if you are interested, just keep an eye open and you might grab one.
He 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 he.
So yeah,
Raccoon clapping.
that's my end. So throwing it to Sheila.
Hi, you can find me on Instagram, and that's the only social media site I'm active on. It is a cosplay profile. I go by Mugimira, MUGIMIRA.cos. Yeah, and I will pass it on to Zan.
Hi, it's me, Zan, or also known as Xanilus You can find me over on my channel, twitch.tv/XanilusGrim, tomorrow at around 7 p.m. PST. We're getting back into Stalwart Souls. It'll be session 9. You can find me over on Twitter at Zanny_Grim if you want to see the link for the previous episodes. Aside from that, on Tuesday, I'll be streaming either more Helldivers or more Halo 5 Lasso with Bosco, Level 1 Eevee, and Artsy Heartsy. If you want to see that, it'll be around 5 p.m. PST for that. It's a maddening time. And lastly, on Thursdays over on twitch.tv/MontyGlue, you can find me playing a human fighter in a very long-running Dungeon of the Mad Mage series. And there's more stuff coming, but I can't really announce anything else yet. So I'll send it off to Saris.
Before you do that,
Yeah.
care to explain Dark Yard's drawing?
No.
Okay.
Saris.
I love it though. I love it.
No.
We Gucci.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll explain Citric after.
Amazing.
It's a long
I-
story.
I also can't wait. I also would like to know. Hello everyone, I'm Saris. I am your lovely DM for the evening. You can find me all over the internet. Twitch, not Twitch. Well, I mean you can find me on Twitch. I did the wrong T word. It's fine. It's been a minute. Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky, Instagram, not on Twitch, not on YouTube at TixDixel, where I am doing the arts and I'm doing the writing. I have actually posted some of my writing stuff over on
Ooh.
Tumblr, but you gotta dig for it if you're gonna find it. Aside from that, as I mentioned, you can find me here on Twitch, but not on my own channel. You can find me on this channel where every other Saturday we're doing No Love War Extra. We sure are.
We sure are, man. We sure are managing a Wendy's on the moon.
We sure are. Wow. I honestly, the fact that Death Note and gosh, what was the other thing that we referenced? The I guess the point is that we were making references, very out of pocket references to like 90s and early 2000s anime. Really dating ourselves. If you want to see us do that and reminisce, come and either watch us live or if you want to check out the VODs. In theory, you should already know where to find them, but you'll find them over on Vaughn's YouTube. And then, of course, I'm here DMing every second and fourth Sunday, where I am taking these lovely humans through this specific adventure, of which we pass the proverbial talking skull to Vaughn.
Why, thank you. You've already found me here at twitch.tv/burnoutvaughn. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. And then over at the Burnouts Bar on Patreon. Yeesh, I say this every other, week. How do I keep forgetting my own shtick? But yeah, tomorrow we're probably going to be finishing up the last of Separate Ways DLC with Wizard Sibs Plays. We might do a little bit more in the game, like just some fun with mercenaries the following week, because before we get into Resident Evil 5, we need to give our lovely, fun, and talented artist friend who does the art for our channel, Bun, time to finish the art for the next one. So keep an eye out for that. Then on Tuesday, oh yeah, I forget, because we stagger these weeks, I have 3 back-to-back streams this week now. Okay, let's do this. On Tuesday, we've got more Wandering. Yeah, I actually realized this last week and made a joke about it. I've now escaped from 2 magical carnivals on 2 different planes of reality, playing a guy with a Russian accent. This is getting kind of weird. They both happened within days of each other. But yeah, we're finally in the Feywild, and things are going to happen. Aside from that, then we said, we covered that we will have, Wizard Sibs Plays on Saturday. Not Wizard Sibs Plays. Saved by the Spell on Saturday. Wow, I'm going into 3 back-to-back. Wow, that's all my D&D in 1 week. Let's go. Okay.
You good?
Yeah, it's just, you can tell I've been at a con.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Oh, but yeah, it's now time for us to play our lovely theme song, so... Do-do-do-do-do.
letting me sign in.
Oh, that's an
Yeah, that's typically a
interesting
problem.
Roll 20. Oh,
I
that's why. I have figured out why roll 20 is. What is it? Why is it doing this? That's why it's doing this. I understand. Got it.
Hmm.
Am I in?
I
so
for
far.
one did not wait.
We are in.
I for one did not wait till last minute to join in.
I was switching laptops.
Ah,
I have fun fact for those of you who do not know of what the DM screen looks like over here. I have 2 active laptops going at the same time, 3 books and 2 notebooks. So I apologize. It is not my lack of preparedness. It's just the fact that I realized I forgot to sign in on
Saris,
my second laptop.
just to run any D&D stream, I have my tablet, my phone, and both my screens fully engaged. I know the feel.
Yup. We in this. Speaking of, would anyone like to take up the mantle of telling our lovely viewers what happened last time?
Well, given what happened last time, I kind of actually wanted inspiration, so I'll do it. So, last time, we were definitely having to regroup, because one of us nearly died from being looked at. That's a thing that can happen here. Or there, because we reassessed our things, found out that there's somebody who could help us possibly get out of there, and it just so happened to be somebody who had fun teasing our pet cat. So we decided to go see her again. And she took us into the Hall of Mirrors, but in a very roundabout way, sectioning us. Oh, okay, sectioning us all off, and everyone got to see some very, I'll say, disquieting things in their reflections in these mirrors. Some more than others, but that's just about how much emotional bandwidth our characters all have. But we made it in there, and we made a pact that I believe it was Baba Grimhilde. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Found satisfactory, and let us pass through the mirrors, which now all acted for, I want to say, portals to different domains of dread. So, we are no longer in the carnival, but we don't know where we are. We're in a spooky forest, where the first thing that we saw as a sign of life was one guy dragging a casket, and dropping it, and dragging, and dropping. Much like if you're just trying to, manage Google Docs, but much creepier. And so, we investigated that because soon he had a friend, and then he had friends plural, and then he had a posse. And then we became part of his posse because Onyx got too close. Then Humphrey got too close. Then Zan, with a second clutch use of silence in this game so far, saved everyone and initiated combat. And we managed to survive long enough for a undead horror to erupt from the coffin, shriek out, shattering the silence, and flying to what we could just plainly see barely was the only sign of civilization. And we're just processing that now.
Yep.
Did I do good?
Yep. You got it. Anyone have anything else they would like to add? Details they might have felt were important? No? Okay. Yeah, sorry.
No, just the fact that each of us got a small poem while in the Hall of the Mirrors, and the promise to Grimhilde kind of included us staying true to our motivations.
Correct.
Nothing major, just the only thing I can recall that
I
hasn't
would
been
not
mentioned.
say that it's not major. I won't be explaining myself,
Oh my.
but I will say that I don't think it's minor by any stretch of the imagination. Vaughn, Citric, do you both have inspiration?
I do now.
Nope.
Thank you. Also, thank you
Just
for
for
reminding
one,
me that.
or
I think you got it too. But
You did?
yeah, I definitely forgot all about the notes because I only remembered all of that from last session because I might have also checked up the fun epitaph that Zan wrote from Razvan's point of view, like just before the stream. So thanks for that.
and then, yeah. Also, I'm curious. Have you
Literally
considered
anytime.
have you considered posting those around? They
I-
are really fun.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually, I was going to add them since they happen at the end of each session, putting them in the next videos, like info on YouTube, so that way you don't spoil the episode with that they were made in, but you still get them.
I don't mind.
Yeah. But I think we're good.
We are. And with that, audio check.
Hello.
Might be a little.
Now I hear it. It's wind.
So yeah, something's playing.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. That sound of thunder, by the way, for the record, is, in fact, in the world that you are in.
Hmm.
As this is the first, as you enter the graveyard from last session, that strikes your attention. You'll note it is not currently raining, and from the sound of things, the thunder, though loud, is distant. The howling on the wind as well is also actual and not just in the audio. You do hear the sound of howling wolves. And aside from the chanting, it is the first sound, the thunder and the howling, that you have heard during your trek. The mists still roll around you. And as you approach this graveyard, I would like all four of you to roll me a perception check.
Will do.
That's double ones.
On the other hand, 21.
Hand.
Sheila?
Oh,
Oh, there it is.
yes. Yeah.
We have the full
My roll 20
spectrum.
is low.
You're
14.
good. We have the full spectrum of rolls here. We'll start at the bottom. A natural 1. Your attention is incredibly preoccupied, Branson, with the rolling thunder, the sound of the howling wolves, though you don't know exactly where it is. The rolling mists, as thick as they are, do not seem to touch your party. And they seem to sort of not fully dissipate, but thin out as they crawl over the iron fence that is, while surrounding the graveyard in many spots, it seems to be torn apart, as if segments of the, yes, iron fence have been bent out of shape, that holes have been created, despite the fact that there is a gate, though the gate appears to be torn off of its hinges. You notice as well that there is a mausoleum in the center of this graveyard. It's not big. It's not large by any stretch of the imagination. In total, it's probably only roughly 40 by 40. Though not perfect. It's not a square. And you do notice one other thing. You notice the remains of some type of shed due north of the mausoleum.
I will say
With my
Branson just
10. Yep.
I say Branch just focuses on
Yep.
that, thinking that hopefully they have a bucket.
The The 10, Razvan. A bit more that you notice immediately is, first and foremost, the mausoleum appears to be very simple. You do not notice what you would expect to see, no statuettes looming over top. You don't see any, celestial nor infernal insignia. The tombstones in general are, for the most part, rather small in the surroundings. Graves. Many of them seem to be broken if they are still intact at all, but most of them are not large by any stretch of the imagination. You garner one other thing, which is the direction of the howling. The direction of the howling is due east.
Okay.
With a 14. Onyx, you notice something very particular, rather the lack of something. You see no signs of footprints. You see no signs of disturbed foliage or grass. Simply untouched, as if the graveyard itself is asleep and has been lying dormant for some time. And with a 21,
Mhm.
Humphrey, you notice that the areas of which the iron gates and the iron fence have been ripped and broken and bent do not have signs of rust or natural weathering. You do not see signs of cracks or hollowing. And furthermore, you see no signs of moisture in any of the area, as if it has been dry for quite some time, despite the mist, despite the swamp, despite the natural humidity of the location. And with that, I ask you, party, what do you do?
Well, something I should have asked when I was doing perception checks. Color of lantern.
It's currently normal.
Okay. It's always good to ask that
In a
before you...
mausoleum,
Yeah.
in a graveyard.
Yeah, should be the first thing you should check. Branson's probably spent in 3 years more time in graveyards than most normal people.
I figured, which means you should probably lead the way. We'll follow.
All right, we should check the shed first, because again we need to find the bucket for Humphrey.
While I doubt that's a priority, I would like to point out that this place seems unnaturally unaffected by the surrounding weather. If you pay attention to the gate and how it is just absent of any form of rust or moisture at all, something is either keeping the weather from impacting it or it's just maintaining itself in some way.
Well, worry not, Humphrey. It, we have, if they are to find something unnatural, we have someone who is quite skilled at hunting them. Lead the way, Branson. And
And the lantern.
with that, Razvan will give Branson a bardic inspiration.
Thank you. And over the course that I will have that bardic inspiration, you're just gonna hear like a low hissing, like growl, not directed at any of you, but you also notice that like Branson looks to be concentrating on something, and sometimes beneath the growl there's a slight mutter. As I am taking it at 10 minutes to ritual cast, and I wish the spell above this was a ritual, but apparently not. Detect magic, because detect evil and good can only be cast with a spell slot. Because I had a feeling this might be consecrated ground.
Yeah, we will get back to that as you are ritual casting.
But yeah, he'll take up the front, and because I think only one person in the party doesn't have dark vision, he'll move his lantern from his hip where it usually hangs, and hold it up aloft like you're holding a regular lantern.
Are you heading towards the shed?
Yes.
Okay. The shed itself, clearly a wooden shed, seems to be relatively worn down. Um, Not in the sense of necessarily a lack of upkeep, but rather just from natural age weathering. Um, you do notice, however, that the front door to the shed, has been ripped off its hinges. And it appears to have the top half of it lying on the ground, while the bottom half of it, though broken off its hinges, still attached somewhat. It seems to be swinging very slowly in
Hmm.
place.
Well, since it broke in two pieces and one, but seems to be like moving back and forth, which, where is the top half of the door? Did it fall inside or outside the shed?
Outside the shed.
Something was in here. It broke out with much force. Be careful. And I am going to look in the shed for any sign of anything useful, but specifically a bucket.
Roll me an investigation check.
Thank you. And do. And I will just roll my battle axe damage, so that way I can have a D10. Oh wait, so no, I forget what level. I know we're level 4, but what size inspiration is it again?
Oh, bardic inspiration. I was.
Yeah.
I thought like inspiration. I was very confused. Let me double check, as it has been a minute since I've checked the bardic inspiration size.
I think it's a D4.
I think it might
I
get.
believe you are right.
Yeah, it's a D4 or a D6. I forget when it levels.
It's D6 now. It's D6 now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so 23. I'll take it.
Uh, Fortunately for you, seems very, very fruitful in the matter. The first thing that you notice is that the shed itself does not seem to have a lot of things in it at this current moment in time. Even the shelf, there's like a shelf way above the ground, seems to be, for the most part, relatively empty. But as you look around, moving the torn bags, the broken barrels and boxes, there are a few things to note that you are actually able to find. Of course, the most obvious, upright, leaning up against one of the walls of the shed, is a shovel. You also find a crowbar, a lantern, 30 feet of rope, a flask of oil, and underneath one of the barrels that is fully intact, seems to be pressed into the mud, is a ring of iron keys.
Hmm. All right. I forget, Humphrey. Can you see in the dark?
Humphrey takes a minute and realizes, yeah, I seem to be able to.
Okay. Well, we have a lantern and enough oil to probably light it once. Who would like it? If any.
I can hold on to it if you wish.
All right. There you go. We have 30 feet of rope. I'll hold on to that. And yes, we do have a bucket. If I missed anything besides the shovel, I didn't have time to type it all out.
A shovel,
Got.
a crowbar,
Oh yeah, I'll also
a
take the crowbar.
lantern,
Yeah.
30 feet of rope, a flask of oil, and a ring of keys.
Oh yeah, I'll take the crowbar, add that to my inventory, and I will also he'll pick up the keys and jingle them. If we find a church on this ground, we should be able to get in. It might also allow us into the mausoleums, but I am not totally sure about that. Some have reusable locking doors, others are sealed.
I would prefer to get inside before any spat of rain might find us.
All right, let us find a home for the night, and he will venture back out, holding up the lantern. And I forget if you mentioned if there was a churchyard here. I'm trying to parse all the information.
Roll me a perception check.
Oakley dokily. And one of these days I'll remember if we level up and I get another proficiency, I'm putting it in perception. Because I'm so bad at it in this game. Okay, 23, thank you.
You peer out from the shed. Your eyes glancing between the iron gates and the pathway leading both from it, out the gates, and then in the other direction, heading north. Or I'm sorry, not north. Yes. To the east. I have a map in front of me, and I forgot to put directionals. To the east, you see a very well-walked, like a very well-traveled dirt road that heads into the trees. It's difficult to say exactly whether or not that is in the direction of a church, specifically, but if you had to garner a guess, if the other direction is the way out, then perhaps the other path, the path to the east, would lead you in that direction.
Well, the path here has been carved. It denotes civilization, which jingles the keys again, would be the only place that would have need of these. So if we follow that, we should be able to hopefully avoid the storm if we hurry.
If you think that is the best course of action, I think that should be our next step.
Dear Humphrey, that might be the only course of action we have.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I want to just find shelter and rest. I have expended all of my power today.
Lay down.
Sounds like a good idea.
So we follow the road.
You do see Humphrey slightly distracted. It's like, how fuck I can see in the dark. That's a new one. he just realized that when you asked him.
Well, it's also like one of those moments of none of us have asked how you see at all.
One more thing, carrying on to that 21 and that 23. As you begin heading towards the eastward path, Humphrey and Branson, you both take note of something very particular.
Mm-hmm.
Just as you're walking, you pass several different headstones, still intact, and you find none of them that you're able to sort of get a glimpse at seem to have names in them. You aren't entirely certain just by passing by whether or not that's a result of weathering or if they simply were just never named to begin with. But every single headstone seems to be nameless.
I should also ask, just let me know whenever my detect magic goes off, because again, ritual casting.
At this point, I would say that it does go off, and sure enough, around the area that you are standing in this graveyard, you do detect magic.
There is in
I'm
fact.
pulling up school.
Okay, cool.
That's the one thing that I always forget to write down in my notes, and I should be better about.
Oh, you're fine. It's literally about what stuff you have to focus on for all of the like magic and D&D. My thing is that every time I've ever heard it like explained, someone's go, "And what school is it?" So it's ingrained into me.
Abjuration.
You guys will watch as Branson like sticks out his bifurcated tongue and kind of scents the air. There is magic protecting this place, abjuring it, but I can't tell from what or how. Be on guard.
That would explain the gate and everything else being just untouched by weather. It might just be something just to preserve this place. It need not be something hostile. But I agree, our guards up is just a reasonable default.
Well, there are many ways that people try to protect their dead. Necromancers, though, are annoyingly persistent.
I take you speak from experience.
He'll turn back to you. It was only like an hour ago, considering how, like, we've only been doing this, like, for less than 10 hours in game, where he mentioned that
I would say you're getting pretty close to that 10-hour point, though.
Yeah, but he would just turn back to you with a, "Are you serious?" Because he did mention that, his entire life was shattered by a vampire necromancer. But yeah, he will just give a look and not say anything verbally.
Yeah. Apologies.
All right, let's continue. But I'd say now, like, every so often, he's just doing cursory glances around to see if any other magical pings happen that aren't the ambient abjuration or the divination of his lantern.
For sure. As the four of you continue to walk, you find yourselves at some point without the iron gates or the tombstones or the monument in sight. It's not a long walk. But sure enough, eventually you reach the place where you do in fact come out into a clearing. And the first thing that you notice, sorry, I just got a notification that my laptop that has been plugged in this whole time is now dying. Give me just a second.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
I'd say probably check the cord, and then if it's not charging, then that's actually on the battery. It's probably about time it just needs to be replaced. But unfortunately, not a great time for that.
Well, it's been plugged in this whole time because it has no battery.
Ah!
Huh?
Then the cable, it might be an issue with the cable. Yeah.
Yeah, which is not good. Sorry, folks.
That's fine. Here, I will.
Time to pet my cat break.
Yeah.
Come here, kitty.
Here, I will post a meme that will feel so targeted it feels attacking you. To lift your spirits. But yeah, thank you for all understanding, folks. And yeah, hey, we just mentioned it. We all leveled up from going through the... Oh.
It was none of the above.
Oh?
At some point, I don't know how, but the switch on the surge protector was turned off.
I would assume by a cat.
Probably. Sorry about that.
You're totally fine, though. I will finish what I was saying. So, hey, chat, yeah, we all leveled up from moving to a different domain of dread, so we're slightly more competent.
That remains to be seen. One thing is the level, another thing is how we use it.
True. Also, Zan, did you mark that you got another bardic inspiration for me failing the first roll of the session?
I was already at full because we leveled, so...
Sadly.
I thought you were going to say we fail a lot.
I was already at full because we fucking suck.
Ah. Though part of me is glad we're not level 5 yet, just because I don't want to add another 40 spells to my spell list manually.
Suffering from success.
Yeah, that'd be the strain of the cleric and the druid.
That said, you do notice it's not a large chapel. Um, it's rather quaint, rather small in size. You do see the back end of it with a door, a couple steps up. You see a door entering it from the back. Um, Immediately, you also notice a little bit to your south, which would be at this point to your right. There seems to be some type of shed, decrepit, but still standing. And a little ways beyond that, eastward, you see the edge, just barely out of your line of sight, of appears to be someone like a house.
After our interactions, I am suspect of whoever might be in that house. We should probably take the chapel tonight, and if we can, lock the door and monitor the house.
Sounds like a sound plan. Should we take turns for making watch?
Yes, I will take the first.
Yes.
I will take the first, if only because I have a bad habit of lashing out at anything that tries to wake me.
Noted. I would like the last watch if possible. I do like to wake up early in general, so
Yeah,
All right,
don't
I
have to
can
tell
go
me
after
twice.
Branson.
Razvan's just gonna like, okay, well, I don't have to watch, so he's just gonna go sleep.
Yeah, first let's check our surroundings. I want to check around the chapel as well as check the shed. So, if you guys want to stick around at the front, Branson's just going to do like a perimeter sweep and then check the shed.
I will go with you. It's not a good idea to do this alone in case anything happens.
Onyx will head over to the chapel but not go inside. Just stand by the entrance.
Are you walking all the way around front to go to the front entrance, or are you just staying at the back door?
The back door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Branson's just going to do like a just around the four sides of the chapel and then head to the shed.
This is gonna sound like a weird question. Do you choose to go to
It cut you off at go
first?
to.
Like, do you want to go to the right or to the left first?
I would say just to the right, just so you wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Okay. So you head towards in the direction of the shed. Humphrey, you said that you were joining.
Mm-hmm.
Razvan, are you staying behind?
Razvan is going to be moving and walking up towards the chapel with Onyx. Though Onyx, you'll notice Razvan is very nervous.
Okay. We'll start with the two that are wandering, and then I will move back to the two that are staying in place.
We're all wandering.
Keep in mind that now that it's Ian Humphreys going off searching something, now you two have to have a deep character scene.
I'll see myself out.
So, as you start moving, you head towards the southern wall of the building. And interestingly enough, the first thing that catches your eye is the fact that the dirt path, you sort of have the ability to just follow it. It just, kind of forks off at the doorway of the church and heads inward towards what you realize is town. You are at town, in whatever town this is. But immediately, without perception checks, there are a few things that you know. To the south, you notice a cluster of buildings heading down southward. You, of course, as I mentioned, notice that house. Between the house and the shed, a little ways, you notice another small building, and right behind it is a much larger building. As you head towards, further eastward towards the front of the chapel, there are a few things that catch your eye. To your southeast is a large scaffold with a noose tied, hanging, drifting in the breeze. You notice directly across the road from the chapel is a well, how do I put this? It certainly was a building at one point, though you can tell immediately by the scorch marks around the door and around the windows and the hole in the roof that it may not necessarily be occupied any longer.
Is it a
And as
largish
you,
style house?
it doesn't appear to be a house.
Ah, that answers my other question. So it's more of a building. So, but would you say it's largish?
Medium-sized.
Okay. Well, it's just because I was going to be like in character saying a point. Why would they build a hangman's like scaffold by the church and not by the town hall? But I think that answers that question. So thank you. Don't even have to ask it now.
You notice a myriad also surrounding and a bit behind that building that appears to be, shall we say, a little scorched, a little burnt. A couple other buildings appear to be houses. Um, as you travel northward around the front and westward again around the rest of the perimeter, you notice um, a road that heads northward out of town and the tree line. It appears just from the little bit that you saw that you seem to be on the northern end of whatever this small village is.
All right. Then we will just head over to the shed.
Do you see anything worrying?
Not too much. It looks like we are on the edge of what used to be a village. But I would ask, is the faint abjuration still all around here?
No, it is not. As you left the site of the graveyard, you lost sight of all magic, and you have not seen magic in any of this bit of walking.
Yeah, I'd also probably
And,
say
every-
that's probably run out.
and everything here seems to be affected by weather, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Though anything beyond that that specific notice would require a perception check or investigation, depending on what you choose to do.
If I am allowed to perception,
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey is paying attention as they walk.
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. 25.
25. Couple things. Couple things immediately catch your eye. I'm gonna go back around the direction, starting from the shed, as you were walking around, of things that you notice. For one, the shed seems to be relatively in good standing, though again, like I said, seems to be worn, seems to be older. That house that I brought up beforehand, now that you have a better look of it, it appears to be made of mud and straw, but you'll immediately notice that its walls and its roof appear to be caving in. And on a 25, at first you question whether or not the walls caving in are in collapsing are simply just due to a lack of upkeep. But upon a second glance, you notice a pair of deliberate slash marks in the northern wall, right from the corner where the two walls of mud and straw meet. Seems that something had struck it right down its center
Does it
with the
seem like
intention
a
of splitting it in half.
hmm? Does it seem like a new, like a newish impact, or is Like it shows signs of weathering as the same of the rest of the building.
The answer is both. So it looks fairly new, because it looks like the mud itself is still holding the shape of the slash marks, and yet the mud is still looks like it's freshly moist.
Humphrey will point the slash marks to Branson. Something did this. This is not just the natural deterioration of the building.
All right, you're just gonna watch him as he takes his lantern, puts it back on his hip, still making sure that's open. He'll also ready his axe, and he'll move towards there to investigate the slash marks to see if he recognizes a claw marker pattern. Because, oh boy, does he know things about undead or survival.
Check.
Okay, cool.
It's a survival check.
Yeah, this is the skill that I miss so much when I do Phase of Our Lives. Nat 20, that's why.
That's a claw mark. Actually, that's a set of claw marks. There are 4 of them. And they're deep.
And
it's hard to tell what it's from, simply because of the fact that this is a structure made of mud and straw. However, you can determine by the less than clean slashing that it is animalistic in nature.
And I remember we said that we'd figure this out in game, so I'm not sure if Branson has figured out if werewolves are undead, but he's still probably going to try to kill it. But he'll turn back to Humphrey and be like, "The slashes are deep. Whatever did this is powerful but animalistic. If it is an undead, I still don't know the nature of werewolves. I've heard of them, but not encountered them. If I had to guess, given the size, possibly a ghoul."
Can't say I'm particularly familiar with undead myself, so I will follow your judgment on this.
Yes.
Any particular contingency you would like us to keep in mind?
From what I hear, werewolves are impervious to all but magic and magic weapons. I believe if they are undead, I should be able to circumvent this. But if not, we will have to rely on Razvan, so that it will be protecting him and keeping the beast engaged, while not dying, of course. Again, I have not encountered one, so I'm not sure how much of their strength is bluster or actually true.
Humphrey looks at his short sword, kind of disappointed. I will, if needed be, try to give as much support as possible.
That is fine, but you're still learning how to use your body. Like, I want to try something. Can I try something?
Of course. What would you like to try?
Well, because your body lost all form while we had our souls ripped out, I want to try something. So he's just going to walk over, put both his hands under your armpits, and lift you up. Now, does anything happen when he lifts him up?
He retains form.
All right. So
It's just small jelly bean.
Okay. This is already an answer. I assumed that if I lifted you up, like, at a certain way, your body would stretch due to your weight, because you seem to have a lot more mass than you would imply.
You did lift me off before when we were by the big tent.
Yes, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was kind of reacting.
That is fair.
Now, try relaxing. Like, I'm not sure how much you're holding on to move and everything, but try to go as limp as possible.
I can try, but yeah, it is an active effort on my part to retain form, as you will see. And Humphrey lets go and just becomes a bottle.
Okay. Well, once you refund, I would suggest, and I am not a master fighter or even uh, trained in anything other than just using my axe the way I do, which is all self-taught. The best I can say is maybe see if there's an in-between puddle and the body that you form. That is the best I can do. Otherwise, that short sword will not take you far with that body. I'm sorry.
I have realized that by now, sadly. He will try to pull himself back together.
All right, let us inspect the shed and then return to our friends and tell them our findings.
Absolutely. I will follow your lead.
All right, so head on over to the shed.
Head over to the shed. Door itself, I mean, the shed itself is wooden. The door itself does not seem to have any type of lock. It has an iron handle. Unlike the last one you saw, seems stable for what it's worth, intact in one piece.
Mm-hmm. All right, you will enter into the shed.
You open the door. It makes sense that there would be a bit of rust. It's weirdly almost, it's not quite empty. But what you would expect to find in the back shed of somebody's house, you would expect to see more. But what you instead see are what appear to be bags. Both of you, really quickly, roll me an investigation check.
Will do.
Mm-hmm.
17.
Yes. Here we are. 9.
9. A lot of these bags seem to be bags of rice, Humphrey.
Mm-hmm.
But as you peek around them, the ones that are not ripped open, um, they appear to be still good, actually. Like I mean, you've been around a kitchen here and there. Like, this is good rice. You don't see any signs of, shall we say, unwanted pests.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some bags here that seem to be completely unopened, completely sealed. Branson,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you see the bags of rice, but you also notice, interestingly enough, you see a rusted axe. Looks like just a basic axe, probably used for firewood. Um, and you also see uh, within the ripped open bags, weirdly enough, um, you reach in and you pull out what appears to be like a small brooch. It's relatively still in good condition. It's one of those like Victorian or like Renaissance style brooches, with the engraving of a woman's face carved into it.
Oh,
And as you pick it up,
I know the exact kind because people at the con I was at were selling those.
and as you pick it up in your hand, I would like you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy!
Oh shit.
I am cursed for my success. 17.
It's odd. You swear for a moment that that face morphed into a skeletal face and then back to normal for a minute. But maybe it's just your mind playing tricks on you. Your lantern has not changed color.
Branson is going to take a pouch that was probably empty, like it might have stored like his rations from the day before, but he's just going to pocket that brooch, but try not to touch it as at all until he can cast detect magic again. But
That is what you that
Okay.
is what you find.
All right, I would assume that like
The box.
since I would assume that I also know that the rice is good.
Yes.
All right. Well, we have food. We have at least a meal for the night, and Branson will take at least one of the bags just on his shoulder without even like. It is like no weight to him, and he just throws it on his shoulder. And all right, let us head back.
Very well.
Really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
As you both proceed to leave the shed, and I will use this as an opportunity to segue to what has been happening in the meantime with our other two. The four of you all hear a faint tune, like a flute, on the wind for just a moment before it seems to completely vanish. With that, Razvan and Onyx, I will use this as an opportunity to ask for perception checks.
A 9.
A 6.
Well, first and foremost, like I said, you do hear that tune on the wind. You also note, both of you, as you come up to the door, it appears that the doorknob, the back doorknob, to this chapel, has been ripped out of the door. Wood splintered. A nice solid hole right where there should be a doorknob.
Oh. Well, I suppose it won't be difficult to get inside. I wonder who was in need of sanctuary. Your eyes are far more skilled at finding traps than mine. Would you mind, for both of our sakes, leading the way?
Certainly.
And just in case, he's going to equip his rapier.
Okay, and Onyx, before actually approaching, is going to peer through the hole at first.
Heck yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because what you would expect to see is not what you see. Of course, you are looking into, the back door.
Mhm.
So you see this room with interesting, a table that you are able to see that is lined, completely lined in unlit candles. Just as far as your vision, albeit small, is able to note. Above the table is a shelf. You aren't able to see most of what is on it, but there is one thing that you can see, and that is a golden jewel encrusted goblet. You also see a little box. Um, it's about the size of oh gosh, it's about the size of one of those like um. I hate to use this reference because that's the closest thing that's not what I'm picturing in my head, but like the size of an Altoid box, but like a little bit thicker. Um, sitting right beside it. And that's immediately what you see as you look inside from the hole.
Okay, at first glance, I don't see anything moving or anything scary in there. I'm going to take a closer look, stay close, and then I push through.
push through.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Guessing without a doorknob, it should be able to get.
you realize that you can't push it, but you do grip it with your claws and you're able to pull it.
A pull door.
It is a pull door.
Okay. I'm able to get it open though.
You are,
With the.
with
All
ease.
right. Okay.
You do notice as you pull it open, because I'm sure you are curious about it. There does appear to be one of those like those little like hatch or like clasp locks, like one of those things where it's like an eye and a hook. Um, but you'll notice that it was left unlatched.
Well, that's convenient. Okay. I get to the door. I open it.
Mhm.
I make my way over to the goblet
Mhm.
and the Altoid box.
The wooden Altoid box.
Yes. Uh, okay.
Ye olde
I
Altoid.
first. Okay. Uh, I first knock the goblet over with my paw and then open the box.
Amazing, incredible. It Razvan, you hear this. It in its very metallic nature clangs to the ground. It clatters. That is noisy as you follow your compulsion to test gravity. And you grab the box, and it appears to be one of those like a wooden type box where the lid on it is one of like it's a sliding box.
Oh, those usually are traps. Okay, so I take the box. I hold my arms like a little away from me, and then slowly open or slide open the top.
Yeah, you slide it open, and you see a bunch of these like they're like little squares. They don't quite they're too they're too hard. Despite being fragile to the touch, you pick one up and it snaps in your hand. But it's too hard to be bread. Um, but it seems to be some type of food.
Are you feeling brave?
Yeah,
I
I have
show the
felt
box. I hold it towards Razvan.
I have felt braver, but seeing as whatever is in this box could be assistive and we are in dire need of assistance. Here we go! Razvan will open the box.
Again, the box is got these little squares in them. You pick one out, kind of crumbles in your hand. Seems to be some type of food. Uh, they smell like some type of bread, but it doesn't feel like bread.
Can Razvan make a religion, potentially?
Sure, sure.
That is a 20 total.
I mean, it's definitely food.
But is this like a Eucharist style like box for communion, or is this just somebody's like ration
Looks
box?
it definitely looks like it's definitely used for some type of religious ritual. Whether or not it's quote unquote communion, you don't know.
Sure,
You
but
aren't
it's some sort of
familiar.
like religious.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It seems to be something for some type of religious ceremony.
Though I know not what gods that this chapel may have been housed to worship, I do not want to commit any form of blasphemy unintentionally or otherwise. He will simply close the box. And I recommend you do the same.
Hungry, sighs, but listens to the advice and puts the box back in its place. And then proceeds towards the table with the candles.
It's right underneath it. And this is a very now that you're inside, it's a very long table. It's probably about I want to say about 15 feet long, and it's just lined with candles. They're all unlit, but it's just they're all white. They're all white, every single one of them.
Tablecloth
There is a
or anything
tablecloth.
covering.
Yep, there is a tablecloth underneath it, and it is golden in color. It seems to be made of some type of silk.
Lifts the tablecloth and peers underneath.
You see a little rodent friend look at you for a second and then skitter away.
My eyes quickly dart towards it. I take a step and then realize Razvan's watching me and decide not to chase the rodent. So, do you think we should find a way to light these candles before the other two get back? It'd be nice to have some more light in here.
It would, but for now, I think we should settle for the lantern. We do not know what magical effects or mundane effects might happen aside from the light if we choose to ignite these candles. For now, let's wait for our companions and simply use this for warmth and light, as he will light the lantern he was given.
Good point.
As you light the lantern, there is a candle that you did not notice that is separate from all of these. In one of the back corners, it stands on a golden encrusted candle stand. It's about 3 feet tall, 3 feet tall. And as you light the lantern, it flicks on blue, just a little flame.
I am not certain if we are alone in this. Branson and Humphrey cannot hurry faster.
And just as you say that,
I just want to believe that Branson's just standing behind him, like, just holding the rice.
Just watching the lantern.
you approach and you approach the back door and they've opened it and they're standing inside. But Onyx, you were gonna do something. I apologize for interrupting you.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say this is a great time for Branson to return.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, I have no problem making the Branson just appears behind behind Razvan thing a beam. Just,
Yep.
we are already here.
I was doing that right now, actually, on the process of making that meme. So
Good.
But yeah, Branson will just be like, he'll just hand you, here, I will start setting up my mess kit. And I'm not sure how heavy this rice is. I just know that my max carrying capacity is 255 pounds.
It's a 5-pound bag of rice.
He hands it to you like it is an ounce.
I'm certain this will come in handy.
Yes, now, I will tell you about what we've found. We appear to be in a ghost town on the edge of a slightly larger village. It looks like whatever was close enough to the town hall was burned to the ground, and the nearest house has been attacked by something. We can't tell what. And while he's saying this, he's taking out like a very worn and battered but still much used mess kit, and he is just going to start boiling some water for the rice. Again, trying to... The only thing he has lit is a small, like, little, like a... Whatever you would use to light for a makeshift, like, a campfire.
Like a flint and tinderbox?
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to, like, make it, like, not a big one, just enough to, like, boil water.
Are you doing it outside?
No, he's doing it inside the church.
Okay. I would like you, in this moment, to roll me a wisdom check.
This will be good. Because, wow, wisdom is my highest stat. My boy is also not wise. He is just very good at magic.
Not a bad roll.
I'll take it.
You think about it for a minute. You didn't need to when you first walked in. which is why I didn't say anything. But now it dawns upon you. These floors are wooden.
Branson is just going to sigh, go outside. He will then scoop up several handfuls of dirt, take them inside, place them above the wood floor, and then prepare a small fire so it does not catch the floor.
For the sake of security, I will say you also managed to find a couple random stones as well that are large enough.
Okay.
Like, not huge ones, but
Yeah, it's just at least I'm not Finn during Districtly Professional. I know the fire hot. All right, so he will start that, and he'll like I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Oh yes.
Are you pulling the water out of your water skin?
Yes, he will use his own water.
Okay. Note that in getting enough water to do this, you empty your water skin.
He'll huff because he realizes he'll then have to. He's going to. Look. He's making the Excalibur face, which is probably the most emotion outside of rage you've seen from Branson. Because he might have just realized that he's going to have to use Humphrey's sleeping bucket for something in the morning. But that's about it. Yeah, I will empty my water skin and start cooking the rice. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, yeah. He reaches down to the pouch that he put the brooch in. He unfastens it, then tips it over, not touching the brooch. Razvan, I'm not sure if you are like me, able to discover discern if things are magical. But I feel there's something off about this brooch. We found it somehow in the unspoiled rice that we found.
If we are deciding to rest, I can take time to try to identify it.
Yes, we'll be fine. I will take the first watch, so you all rest as needed, and I will wake Onyx when it's time. Also, a heads up if you ever need to wake me up in the middle of the night, do it at a distance and do it from mostly behind me. I mostly lash out at the thing closest.
Really quickly, I do need from you, since you said you're making food, a cook's utensils check.
That's just a flat roll. Man, I really wish I was in Dare now.
$14.
14.
You are successfully able to prepare enough rice for everyone. It's not burnt. It's nice. It's unironically very it's the kind of sticky rice that's just really, really good.
Yep, just unseasoned rice. Also, I love the meme, Sheila.
It's not burnt.
All right. Well, eat up. If any of you empty your water skins, I will be able to fill them in the morning.
Mr. Razvan, Mrs. Onyx, you heard what we found on our end. Did you find anything else relevant around here?
The temple itself, its church doors were somewhat broken. A number of candles that are unlit, but as I lit the initial form of illumination in this lantern, it showed potentially some form of magic from one of the candles. It was faint, but then you arrived. Seeing Branson's lantern not acting up, I assumed nothing of it. But that is what we found.
Also, but he got away, and some forbidden snacks that Razvan advises against.
Forbidden snacks?
Yes, it would appear that whoever was last here left some religious offerings of food behind.
I
As
see.
not to commit any sort of accidental faux pas of faith, I decided it would be best to leave it be.
True, I haven't figured out if this ground is still consecrated or if it's been desecrated yet.
Yeah. Well, regardless, we should try to find rest if you want to be back up to your feet.
For sure. But if I may, did anyone else hear the sound of a flute?
I did.
It was faint, I assumed it was just the wind.
Can't say it. I can gather much from just a sound, but between that and the claw marks, it would be safe to assume we may not be alone.
Yes, you did well not to light the lantern. Not to light it more than we needed here. I'm putting out this fire as soon as we are done eating. There's something out there. It has been here recently, but I can't tell if that is days or weeks. And it has claws. And given what we found of the only life, he will put up in big air quotes with one hand as he's just stirring the rice. I am not getting off guard for anything. Though it seems, like I said, we are in a ghost town, so we may as well just try to find whatever supplies or signs of life that we can here before we head towards the rest of the town.
Not to mention whatever the hell was that flying thing. The thing that escaped the coffin.
It is undead, that's all I know, and so it will die.
You found undead in the graveyard.
No, the graveyard was at... The graveyard, I think, is actually the safest place. If it wasn't for the rain, I'd have us sleep there because it's consecrated. Most likely
See.
that's what the abjuration is, but I can't... It is also very open. There's no way to protect us. And since we don't know what that thing is, at least having walls that can break before we know it's here is useful.
The graves were all unmarked, though. Whatever it is preserving that place, it's odd that, as far as I can tell, the graves might as well be empty.
It is not uncommon. Stone carving is expensive, and it takes an artisan. If they don't have it, the graves would be markless and they'd remember it by location. Either that, or there are some cultures where they just have grave markers, not grave stones. We don't know anything about this place, and the myths, from what I've been told, are strange. We will have to take time learning about this place.
That makes sense.
It makes sense
By
that
the way, thank you for...
sorry, I was just gonna say, it makes sense that Branson has a wealth of burial right knowledge, considering he again spends way too much time in fucking graveyards.
Also cleric.
That's a bit much for him.
By the way, thank you for the rice. It's... You are surprisingly adept at cooking.
Well, I basically was living in seclusion for 2 years, so if I did not learn how to cook, I would not eat. Though also, I had a little bit of help from our caretakers in the caravan. I had to be able to pull my weight. At least being able to boil water and not burn food was a skill that they would cherish.
It is certainly benefiting us. But did we want to still rest here, or are we going to try to push on?
I said this is the best place we will find. The buildings outside are either burnt out or made from mud and straw, and as we've seen, whatever creatures that attacked it could easily tear through it. This is probably the strongest place we have for shelter.
Agreed.
Still, I would ask, are there any...
Record.
What?
For the record, not every house was made of mud. Not every building was made of mud, rather. There were a few, for example, the one larger medium-sized building that was scorched was made from wooden planks. The other building that you got a little bit of a sight to, that was between the shed and the mud house, also seemed to have, instead, actually, interestingly enough, of wood, you noticed stone, like stones made the walls, and the roof itself was made of wooden planks. The buildings that seem to be just houses, uh, they seem to be mostly made of mud, but other buildings that seem to be used for, shall we say, non-living purposes seem to be made with sturdier materials. From what you were able to see, for the record, there seems to be more to this town than what you were able to see in your line of vision, but that's what you were able to garner from your line of sight.
I'll say Branson will stick to this only because, again, another thing is like we don't know if this ground is consecrated or desecrated. He is hoping that it is consecrated, so that way, again, if at least if something like the guys that we found with the coffin or the thing in the coffin come back, they would have trouble getting in or would be hurt getting in. So I think he would say that. But I would also ask, I didn't fully hear all the stuff that's inside. Are there any signs of pews or furniture in this chapel?
Uh, there's a door. The room that you're currently in is about 15 foot by 15 foot. There seems to be a door that leads to the on the other side, by that's to the right of the big long table. Um, you get the sense that this is the room behind the, shall we say, main sanctuary.
Okay, well then, trying to think here. So probably once we're done eating, Branson will. Also, how many windows would you say are here?
In this room?
Yes.
None.
Perfect. Once they're done eating, and everyone's kind of like finding a place to get comfortable, Branson is just going to pick up the table, put it against the door that would lead into the chapel, and his watch spot will be facing the door they came in through, but he will also latch it.
The door that you came in through?
I thought we came in through a back door.
Yes, there is. You did. The door that you know that has no knob, but it does have the one latch.
Yeah.
So you were able to latch it. But
Yeah.
there is still a hole.
I did not hear that there was a hole in the door. Now I feel foolish.
There's
Okay.
so the doorknob itself from the back door has been ripped out. Like the wood is fully splintered and everything. But there is like a latch, like one of those hook latches above where the knob should be on the inside. Um, and you are able to latch that.
Okay.
But there is a hole in the door.
That's fine. It's not so much that the door needs to be sturdy, it's that the door will be a barrier and noise will be made if it's broken. And he's also just watching that. He has secured any entryways that could let something through, unless that something can go incorporeal. But that's what the lantern's for.
Mm-hmm.
Which, congrats, guys! You now get to all learn how to sleep with a light on 24/7.
So Branson is taking first watch. For my curiosity's sake, Onyx, Razvan, and Humphrey, is there anything that you do before taking a rest, and or how do you find, shall we say, comfort in this moment? How do you get ready, so to speak?
Humphrey, for his part, is just staring at the bucket and trying to muster the will to get inside.
Would you like to roll for it?
Sure.
Roll me. Oh, I think for this one, because it's wisdom, we're gonna do a wisdom save. Yeah, roll me a
Neato.
wisdom save.
Wisdom save to accept the bucket.
10.
I mean, yeah, it's basic. You come to terms slowly, like it's not an immediate process, but you realize you are going to have to sit in the bucket.
Just stares at it. Gets one foot inside, then the other.
Is it
And
wrong?
then just.
Oh, go ahead. Finish. Finish.
and then he just deflates, and you see the like he basically like just deflates into the bucket, and the cape and the hat just cover whatever it's inside.
What I was gonna say is before you puddle, I just want to imagine because again, the buckets are only about like a foot tall, maybe like a foot and a half if it's a proper pail. But you're about 3 feet tall, so I'm just imagining Davy Jones from the third Pirates movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Damn it, Saris.
Onyx or Razvan, what about you two?
Onyx is just waiting for the meal to be ready.
Meal is
and has
ready.
al-
Meal is
Okay.
ready.
Okay, so it just takes a meal and finds a corner by the table, like behind the table area, to curl up after the meal, and just settles down while watching Humphrey get into the bucket.
You notice, as you find a place to hunker down, you finally spot it under the table.
It's the mouse.
There's a mouse hole. You find the hole in the wall. It's big enough for a mouse. Big enough for a hand to fit inside.
Okay, I put the plate aside. I noticed that people are too occupied with seeing Humphrey in the bucket. And can I do a stealth check to see if I can stealthily stick my paw in the hole without my companions noticing?
So what I will do for your sake is I will ask for a sleight of hand check.
All right. Oh, come on. 6. Everyone is watching is hunting.
You stick your hand in, and the mouse crawls over your hand, hops off of you, and bolts off.
I chase after it. Does it
All
exit the
right,
building
go
or is it
ahead
still
and
in the
roll me a
building?
dexterity check.
Okay.
Actually, make it an acrobatics. Make it an acrobatics.
I love how all of the composure went away, and this just turned into Tom and Jerry.
I'm a cat with no magical powers in a scary realm. I'm gonna knock over goblets and chase mice. 25.
You pounce on this mouse. It is in your hands. It will not escape. It is squeaking. It is wriggling, but you have it. You have it in your hands.
Can I do a flavor thing?
Yes.
I was just gonna say, like, Branson was not paying attention. It's literally all the movement of what just happened. He has turned around in your direction. He is brandishing one of his hand axes mid-throw, but then sees what's happening. He's like, oh. And just turns back around, sits on the stool I'm saying he's sitting on while he's on watch.
Yeah, Humphrey reforms reforms his head and peeks from over the bucket. He's like, huh. Even deflates again.
Okay, Onyx is holding the mouse by its tail. And you know the thing that the cat pupil eyes do when they see something they want to pound, like
Yes.
something shiny?
Yep.
Yes.
So the pupils are dilating. Onyx holds the mouse by its tail, brings it closer and closer, sniffs at it, hears the huh and the oh, turns around, and then goes, and quickly tries to pocket the mouse.
While it's alive.
Yeah, I didn't say it goes well.
All right. Because
I'm
of how
fully
I'm,
aware
because of how I'm gonna roll this, because of how I'm currently ruling this, this is a grapple check. So go ahead and give me acrobatics again.
$17.
All right, I gotta roll. I gotta pull out. I can't believe you've made me pull up mouse stats. Give me just a second.
Well, it's more of you're having to pull up mouse stats, and we don't have a druid in the party.
I know. It's phenomenal.
What are you doing?
What
Well,
what did you say?
Oh, that while you're checking for the stats, Humphrey will look at Onyx and say, Miss Onyx, for what it's worth, I believe we're past the need for decorum.
I was just concerned that the rest of you might be afraid of mice, so I was going to try to subtly clear away this area.
Roll me a deception
Yes.
check.
Can I roll
And
insight?
I need an insight check.
20!
26.
That's a cat. That's a cat with a mouse.
Meanwhile, you just hear from Branson in the background. Why? Mice are a good snack. If they're fed well, you can actually have a lunch off them. Says the snake man.
Okay, Onyx now like breathes a sigh of relief and like nods at the UNT.
Um,
Yeah. Humphrey just looks at Onyx and. Uh, Damn it. Forget what I was saying. Anyway, your concern from the rest of the group is appreciated, Miss Onyx.
I do like a flourish and bow.
and I
Hum-
want to point
Humphrey
out.
tips his hat from within the bucket.
Good. I need to point out, you did actually win that grapple check, and you have successfully put the live mouse
In my
one
pocket?
of your pouches. Yes. So I guess put one live mouse in your inventory.
Yes. I have earned a mouse.
I will say one last thing, just for a bit of levity. Branson just go, are you going to eat that? Because I haven't had enough protein today.
Onyx picks out the mouse, looks at it for a second, and then hands it over, and then mutters, "There'll be other mice."
Okay, I need now an acrobatics check from Branson.
Could it be
'Cause
athletics?
This mouse is alive.
Could it be athletics?
Yeah,
Because I am
athletics.
strong.
Yep, athletics is fine.
14?
You barely managed to grab onto this mouse. Like it almost drops to the floor, but you managed to one hand snag it.
I will say this. He does eat it, but I'm not going to describe, the steps of going through, because I know people have mice as pets, and they are lovely pets. But, Branson's efficient, and he has no qualms about just doing something, so the mouse got 8.
Yeah. You feel relatively... Do I say refreshed? Is that the correct term?
Sated.
Sated? Yeah.
It's basically... This man has not discovered protein powder, so he's getting it where he can find it.
Mice.
Also, you're a snake man,
Yeah.
and that's a mouse.
But at that Onyx, that bowl of rice is suddenly looking pretty appetizing again.
Oh yeah, Onyx's tail, which is usually like pointed upwards, is like in a downward direction, and she just kind of like shuffles towards her bowl of rice and starts eating.
Razvan. In all of this, how are you preparing to take your long rest?
There wouldn't happen to be, I don't know, a pearl worth 100 gold perchance just lying around.
You could start making investigation checks. I can't answer that yes or no, but if you want to start making some rolls.
It was a joke. I can't cast Identify until I have the zero components.
Oh, well, no, here's the question. Did you have Identify before we leveled up?
No, I just got it.
Okay, then yeah, no, we screwed.
But like, I know that you're joking, but I'm also answering in sincerity. You can always look.
I don't think he would necessarily think that there would be a expensive pearl left behind. But we'll give it a cursory investigation just in case. Might as well while all this noise is happening from the Tom and Jerry. 21 on the investigation.
So the first thing that you do is you pick up the goblet that's been sitting on the floor this entire time, since Onyx decided to test gravity. It makes sense that you would look here first. You don't see any signs of any pearls per se, but you do take a note of the fact that this is a jewel encrusted goblet, and those are, as far as you can tell, pretty expensive looking. As you continue to look along the table and amongst all of the candles, you do not necessarily find what you are looking for, but you do note as you move things around and as you take a look around, surprisingly, there is an interesting amount of opulence to be seen at this place of worship.
What do you guys think of this? And kind of will call attention to it.
Branson will look because he didn't notice that you had moved the table away from the door, and it's like, okay, we're checking this room now.
Yeah, Humphrey peeks from over the bucket. Did you find something, Mr. Razvan?
I am not certain. I am loath to investigate on my own in such a strange place, and with such evil portents of thundering shouts from outside in the sky. But this does pique interest, no?
Let us investigate. And he will just drip all out of the bucket in reform.
You beat me to it. I was going to say Branson picks up
Puts
the
down
bucket
the
while
bowl.
you're but okay. Branson will just like look over at it, but not expecting much. Yeah, that's right.
You see the same, unironically, you see the same thing as Razvan.
It's some reliquary or something. I don't know anything about religion.
Alright. Maybe it best we tamper with things tomorrow. He'll close the door and move the table back into position and kind of rest against the table.
That's actually good. I forgot till now. I don't know how you identify things, but be careful. Something unnerved me when I touched it, so be careful.
Caution it is then. And Razvan will read himself a poem to get himself relaxed.
I forgot to ask, do you take the do you still have the brooch, Branson, or did you hand it to Razvan?
He emptied it from the bag without directly touching it.
Okay.
I would guess that it's wherever Razvan was. He showed it to him, but again, he forgot to warn him, and then we forgot that. Luckily, it never got around to him touching it. So it's
that's what I wanted to double check. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And we move into the first shift officially of your first official long rest. And Branson, I'll be a perception check.
Will do. I will also flavor that what all Branson is doing is literally just, I forget what movie it is, but there's like a scene where someone is just like sitting alone in a room, but he's not alone, and just sharpening some kind of weapon, just on each of his hand axes, and then finally his main axe, just staring at the door with the hole in it. 17.
Well, we'll cut to the chase first. That lantern does not change color.
Thank you.
That thunder is definitely rolling in closer. That much you can tell. And after a while, you start to hear the sounds of rain pattering up against the roof of this chapel, slamming against the stone stairs and pattering into the muddy ground below. the sound of the howling, though the ambiance that I have picked here will continue to play it, has disappeared altogether. Nothing passes by the hole in the door. You do not see anything, but that is what you are able to gather for the first hour of your shift. And over the last couple hours of your shift, that does not change, though the rain does pick up.
All right. Well, if my shift goes unabated, then Branson will just stand up, crack his neck, walk over to Onyx, lightly nudge her. Like, I'm gonna say nudges with the foot, but I don't want to be like he's kicking you. He's just kind of like, eh. Social boundaries are weird.
Okay.
Onyx.
To no one's surprise, big stretch.
But before then,
Excellent.
I do require something before you wake up.
Yes.
A Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
21.
21. As you sleep, you find no dreams come to you. And as you wake up, you are awakened and you are given a big stretch. You start to wonder for a moment if that's not a good thing. You seem unbothered, actually able to rest for the short period of your rest, the first part of your rest, as you wake up.
So far, the howling has stopped, but the rain has picked up. There shouldn't be too much. I'm going to sleep next to the door, so in case anything tries to get close, I might hear it and attack.
Sounds good.
All right.
I take a seat. Yeah, I nod to Branson. Rest well, friend. And then I sit by the door, close to where Branson is sleeping, but enough so that I'm peering outside.
Yeah, Branson's just that full kid in class who sat as far back as possible so he could just rest against the wall with his hood up. That, like, arms crossed sleep.
And as you begin your shift, once again, Onyx, I would love a perception check.
$17.
17. The rain continues into the first hour. But as we move into the second hour, the rain begins to lessen up. It's still raining, it's still thundering, but it seems that the thunder is passing over. You do not hear any movement. You do not hear any change. The howling is still gone. You do not see it for hours of your shift. And your shift comes to a close.
I glance, I peer closely through the outside, and once I'm satisfied that there's nothing there that's moved closer to us and that we're safe, I head over to where Razvan's sleeping.
Is it Razvan
then-
or Humphrey who's taking the last watch?
It's Humphrey.
Humphrey's going last, right? Oh,
Yep.
Razvan's going last?
It's only
Okay.
3 people
No,
on this
Humphrey's.
watch because of how late it is.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's Humphrey?
Yep.
Yes, Humphrey.
Okay. In that case, I make my way over to the bucket, put my paws around the bucket, peer in, and then shake it. Humphrey.
You see how like a head peeks from over the bucket. I assume it is my turn for a watch, right?
Yes, it is. I didn't notice anything. Neither did Branson. Seems like it's been a relatively safe night. backs away to make room for Humphrey to get out of the bucket.
Yep.
Before you wake up, though,
Hmm.
there's one thing I need, and that's a Constitution saving throw.
Will do. To anyone.
Would you all stop rolling?
I was
the
about to
same
say.
rolls?
I was about to say if you roll a 17 perception.
You also find yourself in a dreamless sleep. But as you wake up, again, you question whether or not that's actually a bad thing.
Hmm. Humphrey will get out of the bucket and tip his hat towards Onyx. Say, "Thank you for your watch. I hope the rest of your rest goes well, and that nothing else shows up to ruin the night. I'll take it from here."
Thank you. I hope the night stays quiet. And then Onyx heads back to her corner.
And as we move into the final shift,
Hmm?
Humphrey, perception check.
Will do. No, that's a 22, not a 17.
Oh, good. Good. That 28 on the other side.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. The rain stops. And it becomes eerily still. There is no howling. Eventually, the thunder rolls on to the point where it's far enough away that you can't hear it. Despite what the ambience currently playing leads you to believe, it is lying to you. There is no howling. There is no movement. Not even the skittering of a mouse. It is still. It is quiet. It is windy. And for a moment, you notice the blue flame on that candle, the one in the corner, flickers for just a moment before it goes out on its own. And that is the only thing that you note in your shift, as it is time to wake up the others.
If I may do one thing during my watch, Humphrey will actually take time now. He usually has a routine, an exercise routine in the morning, which he's trying to figure out if, like, trying taking this time to basically figure out, like, trying to move, trying to compensate for, like, for his new size.
Yeah.
He's he's paying attention, but yeah, he's not just stationary. He's moving. He's trying to, like, wield his short sword. Just practice through the morning
And you
before
do.
it is time.
Yep. And you do. And it is time.
Hmm.
And I
It
want
takes
to point
time.
out, the candle goes out right at the moment when it's time to wake up the other three.
Humphrey will go to Razvan first. He will shake him, like, not too strongly, just enough to, like, wake him up.
Is it morning already?
It is, Mr. Razvan. Luckily, it has been an uneventful night.
That is kind to hear.
Hey, Razvan,
Yes?
before you wake up, I need one thing from you. And in fact, if all three of you, Branson and Onyx included, would like to roll me Constitution saving throws.
I was hovering over the button.
Oh!
Natural 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
20.
It is a con save, not a wisdom save, Branson.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. You're good.
15.
Both Onyx and Branson experience dreamless nights. Razvan, however, you do dream. You dream of sunshine over the docks. You see the sunrise as it glitters over the waves of the ocean. You hear a tune that's somehow familiar, hits you right in the heart. It's comforting. It's soft. It's a voice, one you don't recognize, but it's warm, and it's deep, and it's rich. And you don't hear any words, but you don't need to hear words to know that the tune is one full of passion and contentment. And as you get up from the dock, you put your book away, and you turn to enter your building, your home that you know of, that you recognize. You open the door to your home, and as you step through the door, you wake up.
Sorry, hi. Morning already.
There it is. Luckily, an uneventful night.
Hey, this kind to hear.
I'm glad we were able to finally get some rest and some food.
It feels like ages since I slept.
You guys will watch as Branson, like, the least high-strung you ever seen, like, kind of glassy-eyed, slow waking up, just kind of, like, wiping his face. Then there's, like a hint of recognition. He is already going down and half unsheathed, pulled one of his hand axes off his like hip, and then he kind of like fully focuses in on his surroundings, and then just you hear the clatter of it smacking against one of the other ones. They're just like, all right, is there anything I need to know?
Uneventful night. None of our watches had any major problem. If it is worth noting, on my end, it was eerily quiet. All sound died down as morning was approaching. And minor, but why not? The one candle we had went out on its own.
The blue one.
Yes.
Well, we can't figure out what any magic does, even if it does something, so I'm not going to waste the power on that, especially when I have to waste a spell already. Could you bring me the bucket?
Sure. He brings the bucket over to Branson.
Who here has empty water skins? Which should be a good question.
Razvan will bring over his water skin.
All right.
Yeah, Humphrey will hand over his.
Onyx as well.
All right, you guys are going to watch as Branson picks up his main axe, taps the top of the bucket, and you will watch as water just apparates inside of the bucket, then starts overflowing because doodle-a-doo. Create and destroy water. When you create water, you create 10 gallons of it, and this A normal bucket is basically about 2, maybe 2.5, which is definitely a water skin. Well, actually, I don't know how much water goes in a water skin, but it's basically like he's just holding them all in there and letting them fill while this bucket erupts.
To answer your question, a water skin holds the equivalent of 4 pints of a liquid.
Okay, so yeah, they all get filled, but there's also a lot of wastewater.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
There sure is. Yep.
Branson will hand everyone back their water skins. Turn over the bucket. The floor in this room has to be just soaked.
Oh, absolutely. But you do notice that some of it does seep between the floorboards and seep out the door.
All right, let's investigate the chapel first, and then the village. Oh, also, I'm not sure how any of you feel about this, but right in front of the church, which is actually in poor taste if I think about it, there's a gallows.
That is concerning, of certain.
In all
But
honesty,
what?
I think it was just a bad city planner because it's next to what I think is the town hall, but why did they put the town hall in front of the church?
I do not know. But perhaps if we investigate the rest of this temple, we might be able to find something of note.
Yep, you'll just see Branson just pick up what I'm assuming is like a picnic table, just drop it back down where it was. All right, I will go first as he picks up his lantern and steps through the door.
Which your lantern, by the way, is dripping on the bottom, just for the record. And before you open the door, I think this is an excellent time to take a break.
All right.
I want to say this has been great just because the suspense of we have no idea what the deal is here and we're all just trying to get by. This has been so much fun.
Yeah. But as we go into the break, it's the time to remember everyone to drink your legs and stretch some water.
Don't worry, we left about 10 gallons of it for you.
It's all on the floor. Good luck slurping it up unless you have a straw.
I mean, it's stretching by itself.
Yeah,
Alright, I'm gonna go get a snack.
I'm actually gonna follow
Yeah.
suit. I need to refill my water.
Go right ahead.
And I'm also gonna grab a snack.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
All right, cool. Now that he's gone, I can talk about how nice it is that Citric gave us these headshots. He's doing a great job, always, and we are lucky to have him here. Like, not just as a player, but also lending his time, because time is valuable and it should be paid for. So the fact that he did this for us, again, if you guys need somebody to commission, because I think he might have some slots open, maybe go check on our boy Citric. As you can see, he does good work. Yeah, it's been so long since I could pay Citric for his work, I was happy I could pay Bosco for a print that he had commissioned by Citric. That just means that I get to see cool art from my friend, and another friend gets cool art as a resource there. So I see no, downside here. Though, there's also several people that I follow on Twitter who I'm just like, they are awesome artists. Oh, hey, Vaughn, I commissioned them for stuff. They're probably going to make scary monsters for us. Or cool NPCs. And I'm like, why would you taunt me with this knowledge before we even start playing, Saris? Ah, I see. I also just want to point out, we've been having this quasi super serious, just roleplay session. In our Discord, we are just shit posting to hell and back. But yeah, no, this has been fun. I mean, I had a very good weekend that was good for just, I haven't had a vacation in forever. But just having this as just something where I can be, sat down and be creative and fun, I didn't realize I needed this till now. Oh, I'm sorry, Saris. But yeah, the thing I like the most right now is we still don't know what domain of dread we are in. In character. We know because we talked about it before we'd even start the series. But it's also one that's one of the few domains of dread no one in the party knows anything about, from DMs to people who have researched for homebrew to people who just like reading up on D&D lore. None of us know anything about this one domain, and the second we learned, we all swear not to look at it. So we were just here like, okay, apparently dreams are now a thing. And I'm just like, And then it just occurred to me, dreams are also a thing in Barovia. Oh no, it could be multiple things! Oh. Oh. Oh, sounds like someone's back.
I am back.
Ah, welcome. I hate to do this to you, but I'm also going to now use my bathroom break now that somebody's finally back.
No, you do your thing.
Thank you, Zan.
How we doing, chat? Hoping everyone's having a good weekend, assuming it's still a weekend for you.
It is my turn to return
Welcome back.
as I eat shit on my way into my seat.
Well, happy early birthday, Bubba Lubba Ding Dong.
And I'm back. And I've brought myself
Happy birthday, Bubba!
Oh yeah, happy birthday, dude. But yes, I brought one of my fun purchases from the con. I now have a comically large meat on a bone pillow.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out tonight. I would have done it last night, but I was just so tired because it was like 30 minutes away, and so I just was like, I want to come home. I'm just gonna have a few beers, and then I'm just going to sleep. And then 3 beers later, I was just in bed. So now I can see how comfy that is tomorrow. I will tonight. But yeah, now I can be like Luffy and fall asleep on meat.
Have you been enjoying this time?
I've been enjoying a lot in the last several days. But specifically this session, yes. Well, you know I was gushing.
What about you, Zan?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Just writing down some of the notes, or rather recontextualizing them and kind of Razvan's flavor.
Yeah. I found a substitute instead of ice cream. We have these. I don't even like they're not quite cookies, but they're not quite biscuits. They're like those like cinnamon wafer thingies, and they have
Oh.
almond butter in between them. Like they sandwich between like with almond butter in between.
Oh, wafers. That's the word for it. But also, I want to say, I think we dodged a bullet for someone who, like, has had way too many Lord's Suppers in his life. Yeah, I was not going to eat the Eucharist over just having plain rice.
I'm back.
Oh.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
How are the cats doing? Are they better after all the rigmarole?
Yeah, we have like a cat TV that calms them down. Well, not necessarily because Momo does jump at the mice, but it does keep them entertained. So we gave them some snacks and let them watch mouse TV for a bit. It's kind of our ritual every time they freak out because of the fire alarms.
I just thought of, like, a parent who gives their kid a tab and lets them watch YouTube. Now I'm imagining YouTube for cats.
It's actually it's on YouTube, and the channel is called Cat TV.
Amazing.
That's actually pretty much all I use my TV for, is so that I can read a book without Momo sitting on it while if I play like mouse TV for him.
Would
I
like
think
to
there was
point
a
out-
Mhm.
Sorry. I was just gonna say I want to point out that the lovely lady has been sitting in that spot this entire time. She's been a really good girl. I sent it in the Discord.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I see it.
She's like, I could be laying in that bed, but no, I'm higher. I look down on that bed.
Aw.
But yeah, if we're all good, we can start up. Or if anyone needs a few minutes, just let me know.
I literally just put biscuit in my mouth. Please talk for like 2 seconds.
Go right ahead. Go right.
Sounds good. I actually hosted like 6 people in my apartment yesterday. It was the first time I had that many people. And just watching the cats, like trying to interact with them was hilarious. Because like my older cat wouldn't come inside the room at first, but he just watch. So he was like hovering by the door. Momo, on the other hand, did better than I expected. He bit only 2 people's feet. He had more
Only 2.
options, but he stopped at 2. He also did try to steal food.
What a lad.
When it comes to cats and me, like I'm more of a dog person, but I got no problem with cats. It's mostly just because, for some reason, I have been cursed with cats. Either have 2 modes around me. Either the second I enter a room, they become the most affectionate thing ever and will not let me be, or they hate me and they will go out of their way to show it. It's one or the other every time. So it's like, you have a cat? Oh no, why didn't you tell me before I came in?
All right, I'm good to go. Whenever you are.
Alrighty, let me just, there we go.
Let me bring us back in. I'm actually gonna swap the music out.
Ooh.
Now we get to have another form of dread.
Where is... Did I just forget? I did. Give me 2 seconds.
All good.
I just forgot. I forgot to move the track, the one very important track over.
That's fine. I was just, oh, I'm still finding stuff on my sheet that I did not re-up because long rest finally. It's been 5 sessions counting session 0, so I haven't had to do this.
All right, there we go. Oh, that's loud. Let's not be super loud. There we go. How are we doing audio?
Oh, that's fine. It's
Yep,
good
you're
here.
coming in.
All right. So, first and foremost, you come across the door and you don't open it. It's locked.
What?
You don't open the door inward. It's locked. Like the door into the main chapel area, it's locked.
Yeah. Branson's going to turn around. The door is locked. From the other side.
And it, to clarify, it wasn't locked last night, correct?
Did you check?
I thought we looked in for the and found that. Like the when Razvan was investigating, I was under the impression we opened the door.
Correct. You did.
Well, is there a lock? Well, I know there's a lock on the door. I guess Branson will pick up the keys and attempt to find a matching key.
I won't make you roll for it.
Thank you.
It takes a minute, but you find the right key. And you open the door.
What do I find inside?
All right, hold on, let me I'm gonna give a quick shout out to my buddy May for giving me a learn about proper terminology. Let me pull it up. All right. So first things first that you notice the altar table, and you find that typically what you expect to see on it, right? You expect to see, for those of you with some knowledge of religion, you'd expect to see some type of table runner and some decoration, like candelabras. But it is in disarray. You see the table runner off, like at a weird position, not neatly placed. One of the candelabras is on the ground, and the candle itself is split in half. You notice in the area of the sort of the sort of platform. It's not quite a stage, but because the whole thing is like a stage, but this particular raised part.
Pulpit.
Thank you. Thank you for that. The pulpit itself, typically with the what you would expect to see with like all of a bunch of different books have been torn out, scattered on the ground. Did you notice the basin that usually would have that you would expect for those of you with a Catholic background, right? You would expect to see water in it, right? Has clearly had, and that is much louder than I thought it would be. Give me just a second. There we go. You see that it has been broken, and water has been slowly but surely leaking out into the main sanctuary area. The offertory table has been knocked over. And at this point, am I to assume that you've come around to the front of the pulpit?
Yes, Branson would have, after noticing that the door locked itself in the night through some means that he doesn't understand, he would have instead put his lantern back on his wrist. He is walking in. He's got two hands on his axe. He's just slowly stepping in, taking in everything, but he will go forward ahead of everyone. But if anyone wants to follow in behind him, he's just taking all this in. Because this is also, spoiler alert, the first time our cleric has ever been inside a church. Because I play weird characters.
Is anyone following with Branson?
Humphrey will follow.
Yeah, that's fun as well.
Onyx too.
You come around to the front where you see the pews, of which are kind of shuffled around. Some of them are even knocked over. But in the middle of the aisleway, you see a giant blood stain that seems to trail towards the front door. The front door itself is shut.
Oh, are there like 2 rows of these pews, or is there
Correct.
multiple rows? Okay. Then the blood stain, is it from like the center row, so like the nave
Yep.
of the aisle? Okay.
Yep.
Razvan will kind of kneel down and kind of test the blood to see how old it might be. At least not fresh.
Medicine check.
Okay. Ooh, 9. Yep, that's blood.
And it's, for the record, when you put your finger on it, it's dry.
It's dry. Okay. The blood is not fresh, at the very least.
That's a positive, I guess.
All right, are you Are any of you opposed to me announcing our presence? I know that might put some on edge.
Without defense, I believe Onyx's antics would have made our presence rather obvious, so announce away.
Hello! Is there anyone alive in this building? He will shout, but I'm not going to shout because stream.
Hello, is there anyone alive in this building? Your
What?
voice echoes.
He'll like wait a tick to see if anything besides the echo comes because again, I don't actually know how big the building is. I'm kind of just assuming dimensions. Like I'm not sure if there's side rooms.
Oh, there's it's probably, oh gosh, I want to say a good 60 feet long. Probably a solid 20 feet wide.
Okay, so this is like turn
This is
of
a
the
chapel. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's not a cathedral.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
more of like I'm now picturing like the rural turn of the century like chapel that everyone comes to, but the pastor has his own house and other stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, well, if I had to guess, the priest is dead. He just points at the like blood stain. Might as well see if there's anything useful or valuable here. We only have, well, I only have 3 silver, so we're not sure what this land entails, so find what you can, and when we're done, we'll inspect the houses. And Branson will just start looking around for anything that might be useful, like practically or monetarily. And if something dangerous
So-
happens, he will just,
So our plan is robbing the church.
I think it's more we're trying to figure out what may have gone through this, if we are alone. Try to get some form of attention to see if this place is truly abandoned. As such, Razvan is going to look towards. Is there like a choir chancel somewhere for like, where the musicians might play or
Yeah,
picture P2?
absolutely.
Is there a Is there like a instrument of any kind left behind? An organ, a piano?
There is an organ.
Okay. Razvan will head over. This might get somebody's attention, and begin to play a kind of somber tune with the pipe organ to try and see if anyone around might hear.
Performance check.
Natural one. It's out of tune. It doesn't sound great.
It actually is in tune.
No, it's out of tune. It's fine.
Are you sure you didn't just keyboard smash?
No. It's out of tune.
It's a loud blaring sound, friends. Kind of hurts your eardrums for a second.
This is a
That
really
sure is a
weird drum
working
set.
organ. But
It'll just play just a few notes, and knowing that he's very much out of his depth with this massive organ, we'll simply stop and wait to see if anything around, other than his wincing party members, might respond.
okay. We'll put you on pause there for a minute. Humphrey, what are you doing?
Humphrey is actually examining the walls.
Okay. Just in general, or are you looking for something specific?
He doesn't really has much point of reference with churches and whatever this particular religion might be as far as like rituals and etc. So he's examining the building itself, going through the walls and trying to see if he finds anything that can point to any form of intervention, like the slash marks on the walls outside.
Roll
We
me a
know there is
perception
right.
check.
Perfect.
Sorry.
No, you're fine because we can see the dry blood. So, is there anything else that shows that anyone was around here. So perception. That's a 12.
It's funny. You expected not to see anything or to recognize anything, as you just mentioned, kind of being out of your depth with religion, but
Mm-hmm.
there is one thing that you do know, and there is one thing that you would be familiar with from where you're from, because you're familiar with wealth. Wealth of variety of kinds. One thing you're familiar with, I'm making an assumption here, but I would guess you're probably familiar with stained glass, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Every single stained glass window in this building is shattered. Every single one. Including the ones that cannot be reached by you know, for example, being, on your own height, first floor, first story. You know how sometimes chapels will have stained glass windows that are up like super high in their domes? Yeah, even those are shattered.
Either either the weather here is doing a really bad job on the stained glass, or these were broken on purpose. He looks at the group.
And
Would,
for the
would
record,
anyone?
sorry
Mhm.
to interrupt. For the record, they did not shatter when Razvan played the organ. Just for the record.
Oh, you know what? That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
So, would anyone happen to know why would anyone want to intentionally break every instance of stained glass here?
It is difficult to do anything other than theorize. There is no evidence of what could have caused it, in at least its intention. But if I had to guess, I would imagine if I were in this town and it was beginning to befall some sort of abandonment or ill malady, I might find my only avenue of expression in decimation of a god that may have abandoned, or at least presumed abandoned, these people.
That makes sense to me as well.
I mean, it could have
If
also
the
been whatever made this town dead. He just gestures. He gestures in the direction of where what we assume is the burnt out town hall.
What was Humphrey gonna say?
I am starting to wonder if perhaps the procession we met along the way, the people carrying the coffin, have anything to do with this place. I mean, how did this entire town came to be inhabited, like completely empty? And there is a story here. There are burned buildings, there are gallows, there is blood. Whatever befell to this place was not something pacific. This was an event.
I can check it. I will check outside when we are done here. How recently the town hall was burned. If it seems that it could be around the same time that whatever destroyed that one house, you may be onto something, but there are many questions.
Indeed. But also, I am wondering if we do want to stick around to find the answer. What we wanted was a night of sanctuary to recover ourselves and get some sleep. I do believe we have achieved that already.
Like I said, go ahead.
I don't. I don't really see the necessity to try and sneak around, honestly. If whatever noise we made did not provoke a response from someone lurking in wait, I doubt anything else will. Be cautious, of course, but I do not think we need to be quiet.
As I stated last night, we are in a land that we know nothing of. I'm not even sure if we are on the same plane. That's what you called it, right, when you said where we were from?
Yes, from my limited understanding, but we are certainly somewhat different. That's all we can make certain of.
And so far all we found is that there are undead shackling other undead that can be freed. We have found that something has attacked this town, or at least one building of it, and another tragedy befell it. Well, actually, we found that two things were attacked. Again, points to the blood. We do not know what's going on in just our immediate vicinity, much less where we are.
Well, I would recommend, if you would have a suggestion, that we follow the blood and see where that might lead us. Hopefully, somewhere of more import in as far as information is concerned.
Okay.
Given that we have no leads, that's not a bad idea. At least gives us something to follow. I am curious as to whatever happened here. It's just contained to this area, or if we are going to find similar towns along the way.
Unfortunately, there is only one way to find out, unless we find another person from here.
I was about to say, Saris, can you remind me? We are on the edge of a village, but you said there was another what seemed to be a town off in the distance down the road, like very far, or was that just
It's
more of
like
the
you
village?
are you're in the northern part of what seems to be a full town. So
Okay.
you're like right on the edge of it, but there's definitely more to it here.
All right. Well, if we don't find anything in here that's at least useful, then I say we start to checking the town itself.
While you've been having this conversation, Onyx, what have you been doing?
So before I joined into the conversation, I too was looking for things to pick up and
Okay.
well, raid. So I was looking closer to the floor because it feels like that's the area that no one was covering. So basically, flatten myself to the ground and snoop around to see if there's anything on the ground that I can take that's of value.
Okay. So to cover that, both Branson, because I didn't ask for this just yet, and Onyx, both of you make investigation checks for me, real quick.
Thank you. I was gonna wait till last.
Yep.
22.
12.
Branson, you do in fact find an offering box, of sorts. You were able to open it, and you find the equivalent of 5 copper pieces, and you find 10 silver pieces.
Okay. Just like.
You also find. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just typing it into my sheet.
You also find, not what you were looking for, but you find variety of various as you're up in the pulpit area. Uh, Obviously, like I said, the religious texts that have been sprawled across the floor, but something else catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
What appears to be some sort of pendant.
Hmm. Does it look similar to the brooch?
Except it's broken in half, split down the center.
Ooh, okay. Now I got. I know what that is from a different thing, but I found some kind of pendant. It's been shattered. He will pick it up and gesture to it to the group.
Well, Further evidence that a struggle was here. Keep it honest for now, in case it might be relevant later, but it doesn't answer any questions yet.
I mean, I took the money from the offering box because I feel like points of the bloodstain, they were required a refund.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that is all I've been able to find. Onyx, any better?
Yeah, did I get anything from
Yeah.
my
Sorry,
investigation?
we're doing one at a time here. So you on the floor. First and foremost, you kind of like you know how sometimes like people lose their change when they're sitting in pews. You find the equivalent of 25 copper pieces.
Cha-ching.
You find a sort of like like it's usable but a broken quill, like a writing quill.
Okay.
And you find slash marks in the wood. As you get closer to the bloodstain.
Okay. I hold out the 25 copper and I show it to them, and then I hand over the quill to Razvan. Actually, I wave it at him and ask him if he's interested. Razvan, would you like a writing tool?
I suppose I can use another in case mine is lost.
Then I turn to Branson and I point at the slash marks. What do you suppose could have made those?
Do they look similar in size and width to the ones we saw outside?
Survival check.
Real quick, is it a feather quill?
It is a feather quill. It appears to have been damaged,
But
it's still usable.
Razvan will look to see. We'll kind of look to see if Onyx's paw matches the same size as the breaks in the feather.
No. It's larger. It looks like the feather was literally snapped in half.
Got it.
If you
so
would
Onyx is not
like,
playing with the feather toy.
if you would like, roll me a nature check.
20 round.
It's a raven's feather.
Oh, yeah.
And my survival was a 22.
They're the same. Same depth. Same number. Same size. Yes, there are more of them, but that's more in the sense of there are more swipes in a general area rather than, shall we say, an increase of claws per slash.
Well, we've learned something. Whatever it is that attacked this town has large claws. They're most likely bipedal because it doesn't seem like they're digging in for steps. But it also means it's probably very animalistic because it's slashing into the ground when it's trying to get its prey.
By the previous mark we found, we know it was here not that long ago.
Still, no one deserves a fate like this, much less a town. Let's move our pace, shall we?
Do we want to move to the town proper?
I think we've learned everything we can here, otherwise we're just going to waste time in conjecture.
I agree.
If I had to set some priorities, if the town proper has any way of like record keeping or maps that we can use to navigate this area, like that should be the first thing we want to get our hands on. Either one, to understand what is this place and what happened here, and two, how to navigate and where to go next.
This is sound planned.
Well then, we have two places. The burned down town hall, which is across the street, and if we can find any form of shop.
To the town hall then.
Alright, sounds like we head across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, Razvan will just take a moment pull out his small book of poems and read a poem in somber solitude for those who fell here, before putting his hat back on and following the group.
I will also say, though I will need some refresher, which probably Zan or Saris. The god of wealth in the Forgotten Realms is, I forget his first name, but something Glittergold. I know he's a halfling god.
Garl Glittergold.
Yeah.
It's like Carl, but with a G.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember because it's like my third. This is the third time I've ever done anything in this setting. So, like, you will see like a robotic, just like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this. Like, the laxed Catholic of him just doing the equivalent of a holy sign, and that's it.
You head outside, and first thing you'll notice is that, I mean, to be expected, everything is muddy. Actually, no, back up. The first thing you notice is that the chapel's front doors are not locked. They remained unlocked.
Keep your hands on your weapons. Something is afoot here. As he just pushes the doors open.
You are met with, as I mentioned, the dirt ground. Now all four of you see what appears to be a medium-sized building with a couple windows at the front. Its walls appear to be made of wood, as is its roof, and for that reason you notice immediately the scorch marks around the door and the windows, and that the roof itself is caved inward. You notice slightly to the north is another one of those houses, but it is like the mud, made of mud and straw, but it is completely collapsed. You notice a little bit to your south, of course, that house that the two of you, Branson and Humphrey, took a look at the day before, and of course, each of you notice the scaffold in the middle of what seems to be this entire town. And as the four of you all gaze upon it, really taking it in as the noose, the rope fully tied, hangs and drifts in the subtle wind, I need a wisdom saving throw from all four of you.
Oh boy.
$14.
18. 18.
15.
11.
Onyx, as you stare at the scaffold, your eyes fall upon a visage of white hanging from the noose. Tattered, matted black hair billowing in the wind. A torn veil. As the gallows have a person swinging softly in the breeze. That bridal gown seeming very, very pristine. And Onyx, as you rub your eyes, the visage vanishes. The other three of you do not see this.
I feel like Branson just looks up at, like, just kind of, again, registers the gallows, and he is just walking straight to the, town hall.
Yeah, Humphrey will be similar. He will look at the gallows and like, and keep walking.
Because I am being on a whim, humor me. Razvan, roll me just a general insight check.
11.
Okay. As you stare at the gallows, there's something weird about it. The vibes are off. The vibes are very off.
The vibes are rancid.
Yeah. You don't see anything, but the vibes are off. And I feel like out of the party members, you would be the person to pick up on that.
Before we move on, Branson, can you shine your lantern over that direction?
Just to be clear, how far away is it?
So are you at the general store right now, or are you at the
Oh.
chapel?
We're
still outside the chapel.
Yeah, we're outside the chapel, headed towards. Well, I guess we now know it's a general store, but yeah.
Yeah, because you approached it. You saw the sign. I sorry, I
Yeah,
slipped that up.
Well,
but
no,
it's
you didn't have the time.
it's good. It's only 20 feet away.
And there's no change in the light.
No, there is.
Oh.
For a brief moment.
You will see Branson immediately
It's like a flicker. It's not like a consistent.
Yeah.
It's like it's flickering with yeah.
Yeah, you will see Branson immediately on edge, but also visibly confused, as in something has happened that has never happened before.
Razvan will take a few steps forward and go about 5 feet away from the swinging corpse and investigate further.
You do not see the corpse. Only Onyx sees the corpse, but you get the bad
Oh, I
vibe.
see. Then
Yes,
we'll investigate
sorry.
the gallows. Oh, it's correct, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's a scaffold. Yep. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
On it. $11.
I feel like we should all make a wish right now, because that's 3 11s. You approach the scaffold, and it strikes you as odd. You know, everything around this place that you've seen so far, which we will get to in a second, because there's more in your line of sight now. You notice that the scaffold seems to be in the best condition out of any building that you have seen so far. And I don't even just mean in terms of slashings or burnings. I also mean in terms of the wood does not show the same wear
It's
and
newer.
tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not show the same kind of weathered effects as everything else. Same with the rope. That's a clean rope. Too clean. You just had a rainstorm. It doesn't even look wet. And it certainly doesn't look like it's hung anybody it hanged anybody in recent days.
What manner of zealotry might have brought through here post the calamity that arrived to this town? I shudder to think. He will shake his head, somewhat satisfied that he can't gain any more knowledge from this, and we'll head back to the group to follow Branson.
For your information before you leave, to your what would be your left or to the east, you notice a sort of positioning of multiple different would appear to be merchants' carts, except one is clearly torn in half, one of them is knocked over, and the third one seems to be upright. To your no, I'm sorry, to your left. That was to your left. To your right or to your west, you notice that smaller building that I mentioned that's beside the house that seems to be made of wood. But then beyond that, you actually see a much larger building that seems to be in relatively, or not made, sorry, backing up. The one building was made of stone, not wood. This building, this much, much larger, it's bigger than the what I slipped general store, oops. Much larger than that building. Seems to be much more ornate as well, seems to be made with both stone and with wood, much sturdier materials, much more refined materials. The roofing itself made of like proper wooden shingles. A bit beyond that, you notice another building that appears to have what you notice closer to it, evidence of a forge. And there seem to be further south or further straight ahead of you several other buildings of note, though they're a bit harder to see from where you are at.
Do I get any indication as to what the nicer building might be, or like its purpose?
You'd have to go over there a little
Okay.
closer since you are returning to the general store. It's hard to say, but you certainly could go over there and look.
We'll explore it later if need be,
Yeah,
but he'll
for
just
sure.
head back to Bronson, make a mental
For
note.
sure. For sure. And as I flipped in there on accident, you do see the now kind of scorched sign. It's a wooden sign hanging off of the door that says General Store on it, and it has a bag, like an insignia of a bag underneath it.
Also, just trying to keep track of all the information going. Zan,
Correct.
you pointed out that you were getting bad vibes from the gallows.
Yes.
Branson will again. He is on edge. Like, is the flickering still going on, or has it ceased?
Correct. It is still going on.
Well, now you're just gonna see him like just. He has his main axe out, and he's almost like his hand is visibly shaking, like prepared to also use one of his hand axes. I don't know what's going on, but some things are making sense. Gallows are regularly haunted places. They are places of death and places where people curse. Let us dig through this. Go ahead. Okay, you first. You first.
Unfortunately, it does not seem that the gallows were used in any time recent, but it was built more recently than to the town's weathering and destruction.
All right. Before we do anything in this store, now that I can see what it is, give me a moment. Branson is going to walk over to so I know about like gallows because I watch a lot of westerns. I know how they're shaped. He's going to go over to one of the support beams, not one of the main legs of it.
Right?
So like the X beams.
Mhm.
He is going to take his axe, both hands, and swing as hard as he can into one of those X beams and see if his powerful axe that is also magical, well, not officially magical, but it does magic things, leaves a dent in it. So should I just roll to hit?
Roll to hit.
17.
Yeah, you hit it. It drives in and it splinters.
Well, it is not magical, or if it is magical, it's of a magic I don't know, because I can chop this thing down if I wanted. He is still on edge. His axe is at the ready, but he is now just, like, storming towards this general store. Oh, wait a second. I do want to ask. Does his axe spark up with lightning, as in does the force damage proc?
Remind me, when does it proc?
If there was any kind of, well, this is up to you because the thing is technically for a creature type, but it's also on you if it wants to proc if there's necromancy magic about.
I would say no, it would not. It's not
Okay.
a creature.
Yeah. Then, and again, Branson is on edge. He is dealing with a lot of stuff that's pulling him very far out of his comfort zone, and is now just angrily trying to find answers.
Humphrey looks at Razvan after he mentions the fact that the gallows is a newer structure. If you say this structure is newer than the rest of the wreckage we've seen of the town, it means they are using this place still. No one lives here. They are being brought.
I fear that that could be true, but equally true to my perceptions at least, that someone came through and saw the calamity of what was happening here and decided to, I'm sure in their eyes, put them out of their misery.
But then, wouldn't we find remains?
Perhaps. But zealotry is often known for their pyres, not only in their attitude, but in their decimation of corpses. There might be
Guess-
naught but ash. especially here in the rain, you would find no track of them.
It's a fair point.
Again, this will not give us any answers, only further questions. We should follow Branson's lead and see if we can find a map of this place.
It's a good idea, yes. And Humphrey will look at Onyx. Mrs. Onyx, will you go with us?
Onyx nods and follows along. Yes.
If I may inquire, do you make something of all of this?
Well, I haven't had much experience like Branson has with the undead, and I can't really tell what's happened here. Just something very terrifying.
I guess that sums it all well. Let's go. Humphrey walks.
Onyx follows closely along, still shaken.
You approach the general store. You open it up. You find, first off, a subtle puff of smoke exits, just of ash that's been moved. And immediately on the inside, you know that this entire building, from obviously the inside out, had been lit aflame. There are scorch marks everywhere. Anything that was flammable is now ash on the floor.
I just want
Very
to
little remains.
I just want to clarify how much of the caved-in roof has fallen in, because I was coming in here thinking that we'd be literally having to chuck bits of roof out that didn't fully burn.
It looks like it's like a hole in the center, that has fallen down. The place is large enough though that you're able to get inside. But you're right, there are boards in the ash in the ground. But it did not burn the entire roof off, just like the center.
Yeah, I seem to know
This-
the level of destruction.
I was gonna say, and this is like a 20 by 20 building. At least the room that you're in.
He will look to literally the rest of the party, who, at this point I've said enough times, he's looking to the thinkers. If you're going to find anything that you want, it'll be in the back. I'll sift through the center and see if I can find anything that survived that could be useful.
Sounds like a plan. I personally will try to, again, focus on getting up my hands on either records of any kind to paint a picture of what this place was, or if we can, a map to know where to go from here.
Map would
If
be
anyone-
helpful.
If
I'll
anyone
join you in
here,
your search.
if anyone here can find a rarer piece of information that might guide us, I truly believe that of all of us, it would be you. And he kind of gives you a slight wink, Humphrey, and will give you bardic inspiration.
Oh, thank you kindly. Humphrey will tip his hat towards you. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I hope not. I hope I will. Mrs. Onyx, I believe you were going to speak as well.
Oh, I just said that I will aid you in your search to find a map. I feel it'll aid us in our quest or get us to safety.
Well, now you've got bardic inspiration, the help action. Meanwhile, I'll just say that Branson is literally like, he'll do just a sweep through whatever shelves and other parts of the room that are not like destroyed by either, like, well, that he can sift through and just see if there's anything undamaged, and then depending on what he finds, he'll just move to the center of the room and just start chucking bits of debris.
Go ahead, Branson, and make 2 different rolls for me. 1, athletics, and 2, investigation. And then once we've done that, I will move to the other group as you move into the other room.
Athletics
Very nice.
20 and 22. I mean, I built this guy to do two things: chase undead and also be strunk.
So, yeah, athletics was mainly to see whether or not you could even move the boards and from the roof, the structures from the roof, and sure enough, you're able to do so. As you search, there are a couple things that you are able to find. Again, pretty, how do I put this? One of those things where, like, anything that was flammable went up, right? But there are a few things that you were able to find. For one, you were able to find... Sorry, going through my list. You're able to find, weirdly enough, a hammer.
Okay, just a sec. I'm typing this all into my inventory. So 1 hammer.
10 pittons.
Okay.
And you are able to find a burnt pouch. It's leather though. Full of 100 ball bearings.
Okay. As somebody who watched The Natural Wonders, I know the use of ball bearings.
Looks like anything else though is just kind of reduced to ash and or unusable. As for the rest of you, you all are Razvan, are you joining the two that are heading into the other room, or are you staying in here?
He will be staying and standing watch, I think.
Okay. I will get to you in a minute then.
Good.
Humphrey, Humphrey and Onyx, you find the door is hanging on by a thread. It's burnt, partially burnt through. You're able to just kind of push it open. You find a small room. Yes, there's storage back here. Unfortunately, it looks like the fire had burnt into part of the section through the wall, and had burnt up part of the stock. But you do see, though the scorch still upright, a desk, a wooden desk, and a wooden chair with a quill and an inkwell on top of it.
Then Humphrey will approach the desk and try to see if he can open any of the drawers.
You can.
Hmm.
Easily. There are 3 in total on the left side, and there are 2 on the right.
If you take one side, I can take the other.
Mm-hmm. I'll take the left one.
Okay, Onyx peers into the right one.
Into the right one. Okay. So, Humphrey, you find a ledger, as well as a bunch of pieces of parchment, some blank, some scribbled on. You find additional quills in one drawer. In the middle drawer, you find a ring of keys. And in the bottom drawer, you find a really nice looking dagger.
Ooh.
Like, it's not like super fancy, but it looks to be well made. It also doesn't look like it's been used fairly often, and next to it is a sharpening stone.
Humphrey will take pretty much everything there. Like the wheels, the ink, everything helps in case we need to write anything. And well, the dagger is just a nice bonus.
And a sharpening stone. Onyx.
Yes.
The top drawer, you find this.
Ooh.
Check your channel.
Oh, we're finally using
Ooh.
those. Nice.
Oh.
I will explain why they probably have to read something. Something that we are recycling from C4 that JC Doodles came up with as a DM is in our Discord, we have channels for specifically stuff that is relevant to a character or stuff that they find that they may not wish to reveal. So, yeah, we're about to possibly find something out.
You also find in the bottom drawer 2 pouches. Both of them are made of leather.
Okay. I pull out the pouches, and I'm able to reveal the item to Humphrey.
If you wish, let me go ahead and do that on roll 20 then. If you want to reveal it.
Okay, and I'm
Yes.
ready to properly show it.
Give me just a second.
You fine.
Come on, roll 20. Cooperate.
I'm seeing a lot of people actually like that idea. Again, that credit goes to JC Doodles. Or Jacob Carlson VO on Twitter. Follow him. He's really good at what he does.
Right. And should everyone.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, we can
I'm
finally say where we are!
Humphrey. Here.
Yes.
Think it's what we were looking for. Hands over map.
This is certainly very useful. Now at least we get some berries on where we are. You ever heard of this place? It says Carcatas here.
Onyx shakes her head. I'm not familiar. Perhaps one of the other two have been here before.
Maybe. I imagine they wouldn't recognize it if it was the case. Where do you think we are in this map?
Onyx peers over. Like, it's hard to tell.
So far we have not seen any major landmarks, right?
You've just been in the woods.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we've been to anything except for the woods. Do you see the graveyard in here?
I don't seem to catch anything particularly like referring to a graveyard.
Me neither.
We might need to just keep walking and start piecing together where we are in reference to probably the rivers. That would be a good way to figure our position.
Yes, we should also ask the others if they're familiar with this place. Perhaps they could be of more help. And we could decide where to go next.
By the way, on my end, I found a bunch of papers. Some of them legal, a ledger. Some of others are blank and can be used later if we happen to have any need of them. Besides that, I found a ring of keys and this dagger.
I have these 2 pouches. I'm not certain what's in there yet. And I open up one of the pouches while I hand the other one over to Humphrey.
Humphrey
All
will inspect the
right.
other one.
The pouch that you open, Onyx, contains 150 gold pieces,
Ooh.
75
Shiny.
silver pieces, and 200 copper pieces.
Okay, that's not a pouch. That's a sack.
Also, for the record, as you go through, because you now have been taking your time, something strikes you as interesting about the coinage. The coinage have, well, the gold piece has the image of a wolf on the front of it and a full moon on the back. The silver piece has a picture of a fiddle on the front, and it has quite literally a music staff with notes on the back. And the copper piece on the front is the image of a man you don't recognize. And on the back reads the words Memento Mori.
I pull out one each of the gold, silver, and copper pieces, and I hold my hand out. Humphrey, have you come across coins like these before?
Humphrey takes a look. Not at all. I mean, I have realized that the coinage Razvan was using and the people at the carnival was using are it's different than mine. And Humphrey will actually show gold, copper, and silver from his.
Interestingly enough, they match what she has pulled out. And it was not like that beforehand.
Mrs. Onyx, I think you should check your other coins, the ones you brought here.
Onyx digs into her pocket and pulls out the coins that she had.
You find the same thing.
How is this possible? Possibly another strange supernatural phenomena that hopefully Branson will be able to shine some light on, because I've never heard of anything like this.
I don't think he specializes in currency.
Yes, unless it's the undead that are changing it, I suppose.
Ravinica noises.
Is Branson going to pop up again? Just like all of a sudden while we're making fun of him.
No. He is only Undertaker appearing for Razvan. The funniest.
But yeah, all of our valuables have been turned into this place's currency. At the very least, we won't have to worry about exchanges if we find ourselves with someone alive to spend some money. And
Yes.
And I look into the pouch Onyx gave me.
Mm-hmm. And you find first and foremost a small vial. It has. It looks predominantly translucent, the liquid inside of it, but it has specks of blue floating about.
Mm-hmm.
You also find what you recognize to be. Give me just a second. You find a tiny bell and a piece of fine silver wire.
This pouch, on the other hand, is a collection of different things, and I don't believe they will be related to one another. There is this vial, a bell, and a piece of silver wire. Can say I see a through line across all three of them. Just an array of different things.
Well, I suppose despite the strangeness with the coins, we did find things that could help us. The map, and I think that the coins will be able to buy us what we need.
Hmm.
Hopefully
map
they
is-
aren't possessed. Shakes the coins.
The map is certainly invaluable. That is the best thing we have found so far.
Yes. Do you think
He-
there's anything more we can find in this place?
Maybe. Everything looks pretty damaged, though.
Wait, apart from the drawers, are there any cupboards or anything else?
It looks like the cabinet that was up against the wall has been burned through. There are a couple of boxes in this space, as well as a couple of shelves. There's a shelf that was burnt through, and thus its contents have shattered onto the ground. A couple of the boxes are either burnt through or have scorch marks on them, but are still intact.
Everything looks pretty damaged, but I think there might be something in these boxes. And Onyx peers into one of the burned boxes.
Looks like you will need a crowbar to open it.
Which you do have because
Well, time to find either
No,
Razvan.
no.
One of you has a crowbar, right?
no.
No,
You
you should have one.
You are a thief. Thieves'
Did I-
tools
oh.
can have a crowbar.
That's true. Yes, I do have one in my. Okay, so I pull out my crowbar, stand back, and then crack open the box.
This would be a thieves' tools check, which I believe is a 20 plus your proficiency.
Actually, we should check because I know at some point they get expertise in thieves' tools. So
Let me check.
Yes, I know that I do. I think I do have it, but level. I can't tell.
You can pick
on the sheet.
between expertise in like you get two expertises, and you can use one of those for thieves tools, but you need to pick that one when you get the expertise.
Okay, that's one that you pick, right? Yeah. No, I don't
Yeah.
think I have. But
Yeah,
I'm going
and
to
you
roll.
wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get two more until level 6. So
okay, so it's just a d20 plus 2. So just roll a d20 on the roller, and we'll add 2.
Good. All right.
$14.
Oh, 14.
manage
Yeah.
to pop it open.
hmm
You bend the nails back. You peer inside. First comes first. You see dried meats in there. You see
Ooh.
2 bottles of what you can assume are probably some type of wine. You see more bags of rice. You also see pouches of essentially like trails mix, like nuts and dried berries and whatnot, like rations. And there appears to be, in total, of all of the food that is in here, enough for 3 days worth for 4 people.
Just running right back down to inventory.
Okay, I look at the food and I glance over at. Oh wait, yeah, I do want to write everything down. I got the meat down. What else do we have?
2 bottles of what appear to be
Uh,
wine,
Yes.
another 5-pound bag of rice, and a bunch of trails mix. And again, altogether, it's roughly about 3 days worth of rations for 4 people.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier just to write down 3 days of rations.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I did also just shorthand write what it is. Okay. I look over at Humphrey and I'm like, well, looks like there is still something of value here.
You were right to look. This will keep us together for a couple more days. Good find.
Yes.
I actually just realized something, so we might want to address it. Humphrey ate in front of all of us.
Uh-huh.
What did that look like?
You
As we
see the food go down. Can we watch digestion?
I'm more wondering of how, like, did he just stick it in like a gel, or did he form a mouth? Like, Citric, please.
Just look in chat.
Oh no! Give me a second here. I looked
Oh,
over.
yes.
Just absorbs it.
Let me check.
Incredible. For our audience, it is a gif of King Dedede giving a Waddle Dee some type of food, and the Waddle Dee just absorbs it.
Let me see that. Sometimes Roll20 lets me share stuff, so I will actually see here. Just a sec. Copy
Okay.
link. Because it's so inconsistent with
But
this.
yeah, basically is that like Humphrey pushes the last night when they ate the rice, he
Aw.
pushes it into himself and just absorbs. You can see it float inside of him for a bit before it dissolves.
Okay, now we've cleared
Branson
that up.
asking the real questions. Yes.
Back to you, Saris.
Actually, they were talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
I think yes. I think we're just like we pocketed the food to take to Chef Razvan.
Yep.
And the two of you rejoin with Branson, but before we get to that, Razvan, give me a perception check.
He has for a second.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Okay, well, let me put it this way. You guys from the doorway just see a very angry Branson just literally one-handing throwing, like, half beams from the ceiling just across, just like, ah! Just so
Mr. Branson,
Oh, go ahead.
we found food.
Good. Anything else?
treasure. Shakes coin pouch. There's something weird about these coins, though.
Yes.
Do you have any coins on you?
He will reach in
And
here.
can we see them?
They're all mixed together. I had 3 silver, and then I found what was in the, let me bring up my sheet. I had 3 silver, and now I have 10 silver and 5 copper.
But have you looked at your coinage recently?
No, he'll pull it out and look at it, and I assume see that it says it is all the same.
Correct.
Ah. That is strange,
Well,
but
does it mean anything?
unless Branson has come across a greedy ghost that changed currencies, I'm pretty sure not, but that's up to you. Saris?
I mean, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Has Branson... He has limited experience with the undead, but he's hyper-fixated. Has there ever been a undead that did something like change the face of currency?
Not that you're aware of, no.
This is just more of the mists and this whatever this place is. I don't care. Money is money.
I suppose so. At least we don't have to worry about coin exchange.
From afar, is there a problem with coin?
Yes,
Take a
Mr.
look at the
Razvan.
ones you have.
Razvan will pull out his coin purse.
They're like the ones that I described and not from your home.
Memento mori, memento mori. I lived, I breathed, I remember to die. I heard that one since I was a kid.
So are you familiar with the inscription in the coins?
And also, while you were away, just roll perception, Zan.
Oh, sure, yeah. Give me a second.
All good.
19.
It's odd. You don't notice anything going through, no change. And yet, can't help but notice that scaffold still feeling really odd and unchanging, unwavering in its, shall we say, issues that you just vaguely pick up on. And as your eyes look over to it, I need one more wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 15.
Still see nothing, but those vibes are rancid. They're just, it just, ugh, really, really bothers you.
If we're done here, maybe we move on. But what else did you find?
We finally came across a map. We do have now the means to try to navigate this place, or at the very least, locate our next point of interest. And Humphrey shows them up to the rest.
For the record, because I know that I sent you the small item just on the note of,
Yeah.
you know, it's the item you pick up. I do actually have, for your viewing pleasure, a map, and I'm about to bring us over to it.
And I am closing out everything
Ooh.
else. And I am so glad because, like, it's a great visual tool, but I could read maybe 3 words on it.
The point was to just you have the map. That was the point of it. Sorry.
You're fine. Oh, there's so much I got. There we go. Okay, a lot more. This is readable now. Okay, we are in business.
Hmm.
I think we are in the Hex's theater or tempter. It's hard to read.
You mean in the very center of the map?
It is the most I can see. I can't tell if those are supposed to be hills or settlements.
I would say the best way to, like, orient ourselves and give this map some more use would be following the rivers.
That's fair, but...
We
Well, until we find a giant body of water, we won't know which way we're going, but... It's a... the Fox's Theater. Thank you, Saris.
Is there a road that goes through the town?
The one that you're in?
Yes.
Correct, yes. And it goes, it does in fact go north and south.
Okay. Checking, is there a crossroad within the foreseeable distance?
Not that you can see from your perspective here.
Well, either way, we at least know we are in Cartacus. Let us check for a town hall or someplace else. I think this place is basically tapped.
Very well. We follow your intuition, Branson.
Alright, he will head out and try to find a town hall because the only person who saw it was Razvan.
And for the sake of time, as the four of you exit the general store, this is where we are going to pause and pick up the next time we all play together.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Hope that was as suspenseful for everyone as it was for the rest of us. Though you could argue we had our second combat, which was just Onyx and the mouse.
The
was
most
thrilling.
brutal of all combat.
A worthy opponent.
The challenge would be legendary.
I also just imagine Thor just throwing down the coffee cup. More!
Another. Yes. It's
But
really
yeah,
funny
fun
'cause as I
times.
was chasing the mouse, so was my cat on the TV
Oh,
screen. So I was like, I'm
amazing.
just gonna do what you're doing. Oh, he's passed out in front of mouse TV.
Okay, well,
What a guy.
Sheila, you can go first, telling people where they can find you, and I will get us ready to raid.
Sounds good. So you can find me on Instagram as Mugimira, MUGIMIRA.cause. It is a cosplay profile, and that is pretty much the only social media I use. I will pass it on to Zan.
Hi, it's me, Zan, or Grim. You can find me over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ZanosGrim, where tomorrow at 7 p.m. PST, I will be running a game for a few people you might know from similar channels. That'll be session, 9. If you want to find the first 8 episodes, just it's something potentially to listen to, they are up on my YouTube. You can find the link to that over at my Twitter at Zanny_Grim. Aside from that, on Tuesdays, I'll be on twitch.tv/Edward Bosco's channel, either doing some Helldivers 2 content or more Halo 5 Lasso, for as maddening as that might be. And then Thursdays, you can find me over at twitch.tv/MontyGlue's channel, where at 7 p.m. PST, I will be continually fighting as best I can in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, as we are pretty far and deep into that module. So we'll see how far we can continue to go without dying. And with that, I will toss the talking skull to Citric.
Hello, I am Citric. You can find me pretty much anywhere at Citric King, anywhere being Blue Sky, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, etc. I draw stuff sometimes, and you can find those sometimes in those places. And that is pretty much me. So I will throw it back to Ceres.
Hello. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Tig Stixel, where we're writing and we're drawing and we're having a grand old time. You can find me here every other Saturday with Zako and Vaughn playing some Fate as we survive mentally through trials and tribulations. And every second and fourth Sunday here, doing exactly what we just did, as your friendly neighborhood horror dungeon master. And with that, proverbial talking skull goes to the owner of the channel.
Why, thank you. You've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Blue Sky at BurnoutVaughn, and over on Patreon at Burnout's Bar. We'll eventually have content. Hopefully things will slow down soon, so we will have content. That being said, join us tomorrow as we finish up the Separate Ways DLC, and maybe do a little bit of Mercenaries, or say Mercenaries for the week after. We'll see what happens. Aside from that, following that on Tuesday, we have Phase of Our Lives, where Now we get to find out what other plane we're on, because again, we are just crossing planes from carnivals and then seeing what happens. We are fucking around and finding out in real time, so join us. Then on Saturday we have Saved by a Spell, where I didn't talk about it earlier, but we are in the danger room and we are trying to fight our own Magneto. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We literally spent at least a day last week just figuring out what our game plan is going to be. So it's going to be fun and chaotic. And whatever happens after that, happens after that. Because we haven't even gotten to our weekly actions. We woke up, got taken to the danger room, and just started throwing spells at people. And then...
As you do.
Yeah, that'll be it for that week. But I know who we're going to raid because they're still going. And it's very rare that we ever get to raid them because they are on different times. We're going to raid one Mark Allen Jr., a.k.a. Aeon Protect Gaming, who's doing their 3-hour music challenge. So what should our raid message be?
Memento Mori.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.